Submit to the High Council here on World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me tonight is Mary Mayhem.
Aha!
Oh, hi, Mary.
How are you? Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, you're my favorite customer. We should do a one night on this show. We should just do a live room watching.
You know what we should?
With
My
plastic spoons
lord.
and everything.
You know, this list of stuff we need to do is getting longer and longer. We're going to have to start knocking some of it out, Jeff.
I think we should. Let's start next week. Folks, we're also joined by a very special guest tonight, the one, the only LiteratureDevil. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. Doing fantastic. Just a happy camper. It's a rocking and a rolling.
Your exuberance made me slightly concerned. You sounded like a DM up to no good. For a second.
Got to play the part.
Yeah, folks, we were talking a lot about D&D off air, so yeah. Oh, Mary, I forgot to tell you this part. I have a Dungeons and Dragons shirt now. It's a crossover. I don't know if it'll get me in trouble, but it crosses over Dungeons and Dragons with diners, drive-ins, and dives. So I'll show you what kind of fan I am of D&D.
Look, there's no bad fan of D&D, in my opinion, right? Like, D&D is one of those things that, like, you can, and it's so versatile, you can cross it over with just about anything. It's just tabletop RPGs are great.
What are those weirdos is who call, like, orcs black people and stuff like that? I don't think they're very good. They're very good.
I don't think those people are fans, though, Lit. I don't consider those assholes fans.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. They're all this fake fan. I've always been a fan of D&D. What can you tell me about it? You're gatekeeping, ask me questions. What kind of fan knows things?
What kind of fan knows things? Generally speaking, most fans know something.
So, Mary,
like I always say, that's how you can tell Henry Cavill's an actual fan, because he doesn't say, I've always been a fan of The Witcher. He says, well, here's exactly everything you need to know about Geralt. Okay, here's exactly everything you know about the world of The Witcher. And he tells you everything, like off the bat. He's like, hey, Henry Cavill, what's your favorite flavor? What's your favorite pizza topping? Well, let me tell you about Geralt real quick. That's Henry Cavill. So you know he's a fan of this stuff. Everyone else is like, I've always been a fan of. Let me check my notes. What tattoo again? Oh yeah, Cowboy Bebop, Cowboy Bebop, Bobo. What is it called? I've always been a fan of it. Whatever it is. Like that's how everyone else is acting.
Don't you love? That's how people just pass themselves online every week. It's like, I'm the biggest fan of this thing this week. It's like, oh, okay. When aren't you?
I know nothing about it.
Let me know.
What do you know about it? Well, according to the Wikipedia article.
According to this, the first 3 sentences of Wikipedia article, because that's about as far as they ever freaking get.
And a little plot summary.
And what's crazy about it all is that what they don't understand is we're not actually gatekeeping insofar as, like, we don't not want you to come in. We just want you to come in sincerely, right?
And not ruin anything.
Yeah. Cool. Like, if you want to come in and join us, the water is fine, but if you don't piss in it, right? Like, come on in, the water's fine, just don't piss in it and make it shitty water.
Like,
That'd be
my
great.
Goodness, I love everything about this pool and this water, except I don't really like bathing in chlorine water. Can we replace it with Jello?
Did you just watch that YouTube video where the guy made the pool full of Jello?
No, I didn't. This is mere coincidence.
Somebody
Mark
just made
Rober?
it, and I'll look it up and send you the link. But it was red Jello. And it was kind of disturbing, but it works.
Mark Rober.
Now, would you swim in it,
Mark
Mary?
Rober did it. Would I swim in Jello all day, every day? I would live in Jello. Like, I would just have my food brought to me in a Jello pool.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'd get all red and pruny. Be awesome. Just hang out in there. It feels like it would be pretty good exercise too.
I'm not gonna ask LiteratureDevil because it's a weird question to ask a dude. So,
well, it'll just melt. I mean, it's hot in hell.
Is it weird if it comes from a girl? Hey, Lit, would you go swimming in Jello with me?
I guess I have to flip a coin on it. I think.
Oh man.
Oh, just like Two-Face.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes me sad.
So it's been a little bit. It's been a while since we've all been together here on the show. Mary, anything changed? Anything life changing since we last streamed together?
No, certainly not life changing. Just been chugging along, man. Doing my own D&D series over on Twitch. Fortnite season 8 rolled around. Did that.
Did you play as Will Smith?
Birthday. No, I didn't play. Why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Because Mike Lowry is a badass dude.
Mike Lowry.
Yeah, Mike Lowry.
Mike Lowry.
I like to play as a fairy. I'll have you know. That's my favorite way to play Fortnite. So
I'd like to play as Mike Lowry. Mary, play with me.
Mike Lowry's a cool dude. Yeah. Who would want to be like Mike Lowry? Even the other guy wanted to play Mike Lowry. What's his name? The other guy?
Martin Lawrence?
Yeah, Martin Lawrence. Whatever his name is. The one who doesn't own the cool car.
Oh. Well, in real life, Martin Lawrence, it's weird to think there was a time where Martin Lawrence was the bigger star than Will Smith. But that was the first Bad Boys movie. Will Smith was just a TV star at that point.
Yeah, I like the Bad Boys movies. I'm not sure if they're like really, really well constructed movies or not. I just love them. I just love them because they're just stupid action movies and they're funny. And you could tell the two guys actually like each other. You don't just like have this constant they just barely tolerate each other like we have with main characters these days in modern media. Like they're just together and they just hate each other. But they got to stick together just to get through everything. Kind of miss that. Like with the Rush Hour, like you could tell that Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker really liked each other. Like they had a good chemistry with each other.
Yeah, that buddy cop dynamic that might have been one of the last great buddy cop duos.
I'm gonna dig myself a deep hole here by saying I've never seen Bad Boys.
It's okay as long as you
really.
It's just a thing. It's a thing now. Like every time we go live, there's some shit I haven't seen, and I get some shit for. So
there you go, Mary. I kept it nice for you.
That was nice.
Mary,
you
I
just
also
smashed me.
Would you like the one of the Joe Rogan buttons? I don't think so. So
no, that's fair.
We're getting rid of those. But tonight, folks, we are doing something special, something different. In honor of the Matrix 4, we're going to play a new game here called Red Pill, Blue Pill. It's self-explanatory, but we'll talk about that in a few moments. Now, before we get into that, one thing we did cool here on World Class Bullshitters this week, we just got back from Horror Hound in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it was it was the best experience we've ever had at a convention. It was us, the other celebrities, awesome times. If you're a wrestling fan, I got to smoke with the Godfather. Yeah, that's a big deal. Yeah, the dude wanted to hang out
Godfather wrestling.
What?
not the Godfather.
Not Vito Corleone or Michael Corleone.
I don't know.
No. The Godfather. Pimpin' ain't easy. The conductor of the Ho Train. Long story short, my friend hands him our business card, and she comes back a couple minutes later, and she's like, yeah, the Godfather wants to meet you guys. I'm like, what'd you tell him? She's like, don't worry. And she's like, he'll be here at this time. And so we're running super late. And I'm like, oh, we fucking missed our chance. We get there. We don't see him. He's walking right up to the thing. I happen to have my shirt on that matches the business card. He's like, yeah, come on out. It was the fucking coolest experience ever. Also hung out with Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob. We had the same flight, and he recognized us in the airport here in Los Angeles. So that was pretty cool. And there was just a ton of shit that happened. So, folks, we're going to talk about that. I'm going to share some of the stuff I picked up from the convention. I got some art, I got a Christmas ornament, a Tears for Fears Christmas ornament. So we're going to talk about all of that stuff extensively on the podcast on Thursday night. We have footage. And now, if you come to our shows, you officially have a name. You're called the Second Floor Crew. Why? Well, you had to be there this weekend to find out, but come to a convention and we'll tell you in person. Now, Mary, I know cons are hard for some people. We got to get you to a con just so I can Buffalo Jeff it up the entire time.
I will cry. I will cry all over everything and everyone. It will be a snot fest. But yeah, that's fair. We should do it.
So a lot of people there remember us, recognize us, and we got a lot of cool opportunities. We're working on a crossover with the guy who owns the Buffalo Bill House from Silence of the Lambs to do a Buffalo Jeff thing. That's pretty cool. We also talked to a couple of people. We're going to have a new game that we're going to share on the channel here. It's a serial killer game. So, Mary, this is going to get dark this month coming up. So be prepared because it's the last one you'll ever have.
Racist.
Bullshit.
All right, so with that being said, let's play our game, Red Pill, Blue Pill. You ready, Mary?
Yeah.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends.
You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
All right. So the way we do this, folks, is I'm going to give you guys, actually, we're going to give Literature Devil and Mary a couple of options. Red pill, blue pill. And they'll have to tell us what option sounds more attractive. So you guys ready?
Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right. So let's start with an easy one. Well, easy might be subjective, but let's start with the popular subjects. So blue pill, DC, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Dragon Ball Z, and The Walking Dead. Red pill, Marvel Comics, Street Fighter, Silent Hill, Naruto, and Breaking Bad. Of these two pills, red pill, blue pill, what are you taking? Which seems more attractive and why?
Blue pill. I like, as crazy as that sounds, I'm assuming we're talking about, well, are we including the movies? God, that's so rough with DC and Marvel. Because the Marvel movies are so much better than the DC movies, but I love the DC animated stuff and the foundation for that so much more. So I'm sort of torn. And then Dragon Ball Z over Naruto for me, although I can't claim to be a savant on either. And then Walking Dead, I know a bit more than Breaking Bad. So
fair enough. At least you've seen something on this list, Mary.
Wow! Where's my club?
No, where's some salve for that burn? Literature Devil, you, sir. Which pill are you taking?
I'd have to take the blue one because the only thing that's superior on the red roster is Breaking Bad. So that's the only thing I like better than anything than like Walking Dead or whatever on the red pill side. But the blue pill side, I like DC better than I like Marvel. I like Mortal Kombat better than I like Street Fighter. I guess you could say I do like Silent Hill more than I like Resident Evil. But DBZ is a big heavyweight champion here over Naruto by a long shot. So I'll take DBZ definitely. Walking Dead, I like that less than I like Breaking Bad, but I still like Walking Dead, just at the TV show all that much. So I have to go with the blue pill on this one.
I agree.
This is difficult because Marvel Comics, yeah, I know they're full of SJW crap. We'll talk about that. But like Spider-Man is so influential. People that know me understand that. That being said, Spider-Man's not enough to make... See, it's Marvel and Breaking Bad that are the hard parts because Street Fighter's great. Maybe it's superior to Mortal Kombat, but I like Mortal Kombat more. Resident Evil over Silent Hill. Never got into the Silent Hill games. Love the Silent Hill movie. Yeah, but I'm currently playing Resident Evil 3, the remake, over on Xbox. So, like, I do like that. Dragon Ball Z, that's the hardest one. I don't give a shit about Naruto. Sorry out there. If you are a fan, cool. Sell it to me. Convince me to like this shit. I'll watch it. Send it to me. That's how
I can see why people would like Naruto. Naruto is more like it's one of those. It's a shipping farm. People love to ship those characters, and it's very attractive because it's around high school and it's like high school ninjas and it has a lot of good things going on. But I personally prefer Dragon Ball Z over Naruto.
And then I hate The Walking Dead. I would choose Breaking Bad over that, but the other strength of the other options are, it's too much for me to pick. So, right. So here's another one. Now, this is more philosophical. I won't have an image up for this one, but red pill. Mary, you go first. You wake up tomorrow, 25 years younger, and you get a complete redo. Or blue pill. You wake up tomorrow, 5 years older, but get $20 million tax-free.
25 years younger, I redo.
Literature Devil?
That's easy. 25 years, get a redo. That'd be awesome. Like, do we still have all the knowledge we have right now?
That's where the sticking point is for me. Because if I wake up 25 years younger and get a redo, that means I just wake up tomorrow at 6 years old. And then that's it. Like, I don't want to go back to the 90s and just redo it all. Not that my life was bad, but that's the question. If you get the knowledge that you have now, I'll go back in time and invest. I'll be super rich.
That'd be awesome. That'd be great. That's like the obvious choice.
The money is something that if you have enough ethic and work motivation, work ethic, you can do that for your damn self, right? Like presuming that you know how to avoid certain pitfalls that are going to sit out in front of you.
Yeah, like for example, I'll just we'll learn when the cryptocurrency thing is starting. I'll just dump all my money into Bitcoin or something.
Right.
Let's get a whole treasure search of those things.
I think I'm going to pick the blue pill on this one because I wake up tomorrow at 37 and $20 million tax free. All right.
Nah, man, you'll hit that 37 and you'll wish you had
a
that
row?
time back. No, I mean, like you're saying you'd wake up at 37, right?
It's a Clerks joke, Mary.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I'll just get like the 25 years younger thing, and I'll probably have like $20 million by the time I come back, or more.
Probably way more, honestly. $20 million isn't that much.
Well, it's a lot more than we have now, but I agree.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But $20 million just isn't that. I mean, could you live the rest of your life stable and secure? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably. Mary, with $20 million, look, the economy's bad, the world's bad, whatever you want to say is bad. It all sucks. There you go. We said it. There.
Move to Mexico?
Check it off. But long story short, $20 million is a lot of money. You can smart invest that and not just be okay and comfortable for the rest of your life. You can live really well. Like, look, 20 million bucks. Okay, let's say somebody gifts me $20 million tomorrow. One of the first things I would do is probably move. Why? Because $20 million here isn't that much. $20 million anywhere else is a lot of money. Buy a house. There we go. I'm only 5 years older.
Oh, I don't know. There's so much stuff I could do at that time. There's so much I could do at that time. And so many things I could go and do better and do differently. Do better, you know? So, like there's this thing like I'm going to make this like super personal, and maybe that's a mistake here, but there's this philosophy that I've tried to have. How bad am I at money? No. I'm just saying you don't know what the economy is going to do, Dr. Coffin Nails. But like if I could go back and I could work on doing something towards the effort of leaving a legacy behind, right? Something that will be remembered. Money comes and goes. That's a blink, right? But if I could, you're going to leave something behind you when you go. That's the only thing that lasts. That's the only thing that matters, right? Is your legacy. And that's what I would prefer to work towards. Because I'm going to be gone one day, one way or another. So,
you know, in hindsight, I'm with you. The deeper meaning, the time, the life is greater than the money. But the sticking point really is if we can know if we know the future. Because if we know the future, I'm going back in time for sure. I'm going to freak everyone out as a kid that knows it all.
I'm gonna not marry that guy.
Fair enough. Now we have this might be our last one. No, we'll have one more after this. Actually, let's put this one up. This is super nerdy for our gamers out there. LiteratureDevil, are you a gamer? Right?
Not really a gamer. I do play games. I do know some of the stuff.
Well, do you know what this all means in front of you right here?
Oh.
Mostly, yes. I haven't played any of those except for the Super Smash Brothers stuff. But I do know what they are.
So folks out there listening, Red Pill, Super Mario Galaxy, Legend of Zelda: The Twilight Princess, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Blue Pill, Super Mario Sunshine, Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker, Super Smash Bros. Melee. Mary, I heard a guffaw or whatever that sound would be. What? Act like Grace Randolph here. What? No, what's the deal? What are you picking? Which
Red,
is easier?
without batting an eye. Red. Because Twilight Princess alone clinches this, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm in the middle of playing Wind Waker right now over on my Twitch and working through that. I love all Zelda games. Wind Waker is not given enough credit, not given enough love. You're gonna sit here
rightly so, Mary.
Put Wind Waker next to Twilight Princess. Are you mad? I
will debate you if you want.
You can if you'd like. I mean,
what?
Are you serious right now?
Oh my god, dude. There is a reason why the Wind Waker is still the least successful Zelda game in terms of the main series.
Okay, go on.
It's a bait and switch game that I bought the first day. Oh, and here's the thing. I love Zelda. This isn't some guy that's never played a Zelda game. But not every Zelda game is a masterpiece. Not every Zelda game is truly as great as everyone says. I'm in the camp that Wind Waker isn't that great.
Why are we arguing? Why are we arguing then? Because I agree. Like I like Zelda Wind Waker, but you're sitting it next to Twilight Princess. It's Twilight Princess all day long.
Yeah, Twilight. Because
Red Pill.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. LiteratureDevil, what about you, sir?
Now I have to go with the Blue Pill on this one because I actually played Wind Waker for a little while, and I did like Wind Waker. I have played Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is really good, but and then I'm familiar with Mario Sunshine, so I have to pick that one. Or Mario Galaxy, which I'm not familiar with at all. So I'll have to go to blue
Galaxy's
pill. On this one.
fun. Galaxy's fun. It's not like it's not like but like Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Galaxy gave us Rosalina. Like you'd have to forego Rosalina. Rosalina, Princess.
I
of the
assume it's a
Stars.
character.
Yes. Oh no, my brain. Yeah, it's the red pill. Oh man, lit. It's okay. I still respect you tomorrow morning.
Oh, it's one of those types of shows. Perfect. So I'll back Mary and go with the red pill. Galaxy, I don't care about, but Twilight Princess is my favorite Zelda game after Ocarina.
There you go.
And it's Breath of the Wild, though, man. That's the hard part because it's Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, and Breath of the Wild are locked in as my top 3 favorites, but I don't know what 2 and 3 are in that order. I'm a 3D Zelda guy, not an over-the-top 2D guy.
That's fair. Well, Wind Waker is a 3D.
My complaint about Wind Waker, though, is like the constant sailing and the fucking trying to use that little hook to get the Triforce shards. It's the only Zelda game I quit in frustration. I just didn't care. Like I can get over the cel-shaded look, but I don't like it. And Nintendo is on record. It was the Zelda game to get more women to play. So,
well, you know what doesn't get enough love is Majora's Mask, the direct sequel to to Ocarina of Time.
That was a good one. That one I actually have played.
Yes, it's such a great game.
Cool.
They just took the skins from and the story. Have you ever heard the death theory about Majora's Mask?
Oh yeah, definitely. He's been dead the whole time.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then it's going through the stages of grief or whatever, and each stage represents a different stage of grief. It's so amazing, and just I love the mechanic of replaying, like you play back the same days over and over again, because that's how grief can feel sometimes, is that you're just stuck in this loop of time that you can't get out of, you can't move past, right? Oh, it's so cool.
Although I think it's one of those, unfortunately, it's one of those games that kind of set the trend, because now then everything came out with, the character's been dead the whole time. That's kind of what Matt Pat built this whole thing on.
Matt Pat, yeah, game theory.
Here's how this character's actually been dead the entire time. Here's how this character's been dead the entire time. Here's about that character's been dead the entire time.
Well,
even he knows
whether or
that.
not you subscribe to like string theory and the notion that like the butterfly wings or whatever can flap and you find yourself in a different dimension because he died in this one, right? So this is just one of those butterfly flaps. So
yeah, I didn't realize everybody loved Matt Pat. I'm a fan of game theory.
I like
food theory and film theory and all that shit.
Like
film theory, yes.
The key is to not take him too seriously. It's just for fun. Like that's what he said at the end of his videos. It's just a theory, a game theory, or whatever it is.
A game theory.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.
One of these weeks we should just get a list of all the fucking YouTube people and their like slogans, and I'll just read them. Is your favorite character?
That's how you ruin it. That's how you ruin it. I was on board.
A great idea.
You know what? Nope. That's how you ruin it. I will find a way to contact Matt Pat right now and tell him that you are murdering his outro.
You find a way to contact Matt Pat, and I'll tell him Buffalo Jeff murdered you.
Wow. I feel like that could actually happen. Where did Mary go?
No.
Buffalo Jeff just killed her. So that's how she went out.
Valiant Renegade, thank you for your super chat. He says, A Link to the Past SNES was my last Zelda game. I've never tried the newer ones. Not for me. You're missing out, bro. Valiant.
Goodness gracious. We're going to have an intervention.
Ooh, intervention.
That poor guy. Oh.
So let's do our last red pill, blue pill of the night, and then we're going to get into talking about The Matrix and a bunch of other shit, including The Last Jedi. Folks, there's an article. The Last Jedi was good, they say. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one before. Because it's not.
Yeah. Which one? Blue pill, bring characters from your favorite fictional world to your world. Red pill, transport yourself to your favorite fictional world. Now, when you answer, no matter what you pick, tell us what your favorite fictional world is. Obviously, you have to tell that, but go into the why if you don't mind. So, Mary, this is our final one. If you wouldn't mind, tell us your choice.
Red pill, and this is gonna get wonky. Neverland, specifically for a few reasons. It's pretty condensed. Neverland is it's a relatively small functioning area, and you are not cut off from returning canonically with Neverland to the regular world, right? You can come back. You preserve that youth, right? And also everything is so, with it being so much more condensed, I understand how it works, right? I understand how Neverland works. I understand how to get along in it. All of the stuff that could get thrown at you, because it's this really finite type of world, I know how to get along in it without having to stumble around and figure everything out, without a bunch of new shit being thrown at me every 2 seconds. And if I decide that this just isn't for me anymore, I can dip.
LiteratureDevil, what about you?
I have no idea. They both sound pretty terrible. I guess the best one would be like to add in your favorite fictional character to your world, because then if I can choose, I can just bring in Superman, and you can just he's like the most powerful being who's also moral. So I guess I'll go with Blue Pill on this one again.
I think I will go with Blue Pill as well, because it's fun for fantasy and stuff like that, but one, I can't even think of a world I'd want to live in. The thing is, the movie Star Wars is great. The Star Wars world is great, but I don't want to go there. Like, I would rather have a Millennium Falcon and that's it.
It's a nice place to just read about and watch a movie about, but you don't really want to live there. Same thing with a lot of these other fictional worlds.
And then
because they're terrible places to live. Like, oh, cool, Game of Thrones.
Right, I was just thinking.
Didn't we want to live in Game of Thrones? Wouldn't want to live in that world. I like to live in 1984. Wouldn't want to live in 1984. Well, I don't want to be an animal farm. So yeah, it's kind of a tough one. I guess like Narnia, if you're like a king or something. Then
Narnia wouldn't be too bad, but it depends on whether you come in before or after the White Witch, right? Like, when do you get checked in there?
It's called like a whole... Find her on her old tweets and take her down.
Wow. And just try to find the old sword and see if we can get her that way.
I'm just trying to think of a good fictional world to want to even visit, because it's like all my favorite movies take place in the real world. It's like, Jeff, what are you going to do with Marty McFly? I don't know. Talk to him like it's 1985. Like, all this stuff doesn't seem that appealing to me, not to kill the story, but if I like Marvel movies, well, they take place in our universe, kind of. It's like, yeah, we have a different president, but the world's kind of the same. What's exciting about that?
My favorite fictional universe is the 80s. Over there.
This is why my answer is perfect. Okay, you pick something that is connected enough to like Neverland. You pick something connected enough to our real world that has a established way to return to our real world. You don't lose any time by going there, at least in terms of my own lifespan. I can go to Neverland. I can live it up. I get to go swim with mermaids. All right. I get to go hang out with freaking fairies. All right. There's a ton of stuff I can do in Neverland. Amazing experiences no one else could have. Right. And then when I grow tired, and when those finite experiences have run their course, I can return. This is why my adoption's ideal.
Well, Mary, Terry Landis says, changing the rules already. Folks, this was fun for tonight. This was Red Pill, Blue Pill for the Matrix. And now I think it's time to talk about the Matrix. But first, let's get caught up with everybody. So we'll be right back in just a moment. I already pressed that one. What's a good one? Mary, this one's...
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Joe Rogan's crazy.
Fuck?
That's pretty awesome.
He wasn't really laughing at that like that.
Yeah, he was. I didn't edit that. I cut a couple frames out of like the pause, but like that's even the actual response of Greg Fitzsimmons. Like, that's all legit, Mary.
Well, yeah, because it was hilarious. Why wouldn't you laugh at that? That's funny.
Initially, my initial reaction was, and then now all I can think about is the way he was.
Well, Mary, there's another one.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
Oh my god, oh my god. Oh my god.
was fine. He was fine. He walked it off.
There's one more, and then I'm done.
Did you see that guy accidentally hit that moose with his car?
No.
Holy shit. Jamie, pull that video up.
It's Mr. Flatnut to you.
It's Mr. What?
Slapnuts.
Was that wrestling?
Yeah, Mary's favorite.
No wonder Mary likes it so much.
I don't
I know.
fucking like wrestling. Shit, Liv. Why? Why are you doing this to me? You're
Well,
not supposed to join. No, I hate wrestling. I hate it with a passion.
Well, Mary,
Are you serious right now?
I'm so glad that you love wrestling because our first super chat comes from our friend Joseph Bienowicz. Says, "Hail WCBS. Hi, Mary. Buffalo Jeff wants to know if you liked when Stephanie McMahon was strapped to the Undertaker symbol."
I don't know what that means. I don't know what it means.
You sure you don't know what it means?
The Undertaker's awesome.
I've never
Yeah.
seen a wrestling of an episode of wrestling in my entire life. I've caught glimpses of them as I scrolled past it in my youth on the television. I went to a weird wrestling. This is going to sound insane. When I was a teenager, there was this weird traveling wrestling Christian troupe that would like set up wrestling rings and go to like high schools and do like presentations for church youth groups. And I can't really explain it better than that. I watched that, and when I watched it, I said to myself, this is the stupidest shit I've ever seen in my life. And that was at like 16, 17 years old. Of course, I didn't have the expletive in my mind at that time, but yeah, no, it's so stupid. Wrestling is so fucking stupid.
Well, there you go, Mary. That's the Undertaker symbol that Joseph Bienowicz wanted you to hear about.
I don't care. What do I have to do to get it across to you people? It is so fucking stupid, and I don't care.
The best
Shit.
part was Stone Cold Steve Austin, his rivalry with Vince McMahon. That was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah,
He put like
it was
cement in his car and everything. That was pretty awesome.
the thing about this, Mary. The reason we always troll you about wrestling is even though it is theater of the blue collar, there is like a good narrative and story thread every once in a while. And the McMahon one's the best because, long story short, the guy Vince McMahon hated Stone Cold so much he basically sacrificed his daughter to the devil to get him, get back at the guy.
As a Vince McMahon,
He sacrificed his child to the, and you wonder why the fuck I sit here and roll my eyes as hard as anyone has ever rolled their eyes at you psychos for sitting.
Shut your mouth, you thong-wearing fatty.
It is pretty stupid though. Like professional wrestling.
Oh God,
stupid,
yeah.
But it's great. It's fantastic.
Fucking retards.
Did we break Mary?
I threw my phone.
In protest, anger, or confusion?
All of the above. All of them.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah, that's a normal reaction to professional wrestling. Just confusion, anger, frustration, everything all at once.
Alcoholism. Yeah.
Especially that one.
Jesus.
All right, Mary. So
first.
I actually have to correct myself. TLJ Screwjob sent in the first super chat that says, Mary, how bad was it when The Rock was screwed at WrestleMania 17?
I don't fucking care.
I do. Thank you, TLJ Screwjob. First off, for your patience, and thank you. Secondly, for trolling the shit out of Mary. Folks, you make my day. Andrew Clark, thank you very much, sir. He says, Lucifer, Season 6, Episode 7, 32-22 on Netflix. Adam, first man, says, classic Adam, yeah, wokeness is hard. I got to do it better, and I will. Play audio only. Let me see if I can look into that for a minute. While I do, anyone here watch Lucifer on Netflix? Or watch Lucifer, was it somewhere else before Netflix?
Only the show exists.
I did know
I
it
reject
existed.
that reality that show exists.
I knew it existed.
Well, I've yet to watch it. As people can clearly hear, it's playing in the background, or at least trying to.
Just read the comics. Way better.
Oh, it's based on okay, I didn't realize that.
Well, yes and no. They claim they base it on the comic books. The TV show, as far as I know, is nothing about the comic books. Because Lucifer in the comic books is the same Lucifer from Sandman. And after he quit being the devil and kind of left hell, It's that what happened to Lucifer after that happened. And it's really cool. It's really cool. The TV show that went with like a Californication thing, and he's like helping the police or something like that. Not really what the comics are about, as far as I know.
I need to take a deeper dive into the Sandman stuff. Are you excited for the show? Wait, were you on the episode when Neil Gaiman announced all the changes and stuff?
I don't remember, but it's like he sold his soul to the devil. The devil in this case being Netflix. It was unfortunate.
Okay, so let me see. 32-22.
Sandman is like I don't know, Under Siege to Steven Seagal. Like Sandman is Neil Gaiman is like the Under Siege to Steven Seagal. It's like Neil Gaiman. Oh, he's the guy who did Sandman. Like everyone knows he does other stuff like Coraline, and he did The Ocean at the End of the Lane, and a bunch of other things like Doctor Who and everything. But his main thing, the thing that got him famous, the thing that really made his name was Sandman. So, and he's been really passionate about that project for many, many years. In fact, he recently did an audiobook about Sandman for Amazon recently. It's really good. It's really good. I think it's like the first volume or something like that. But then the Netflix version, it seems like he's going like this, going full woke. Like I guess he's like, I'm getting old. I'll just say yes to whatever. It's like this, so I can get a Sandman TV show or something like that.
Well, there you go, folks. You have it right here in front of you. As it stopped doing that crap, where'd it go? But yeah, it's in the show right here. Classic Adam, yeah, wokeness is hard. And then Netflix and copyright is weird. So I'm going to pause this for a second and show the next part. But this is out there, and it's dumb. Like, wokeness is dumb itself, but I don't know, it's everywhere. I guess people are finally into it, right? Said no one ever. But the Lucifer show has always interested me. It's cool. It looks fun. I haven't watched it. I'm so far behind. Like, I just started watching Peaky Blinders, and shit, I haven't watched an episode in like 3 weeks. So that goes to show you how dedicated I am to my television shows.
Wokeness is hard. I got to get better at it. Did he really tell himself to be better? Be better. Come on, Dad. I know you're Superman, but be better, okay?
Jorge Barracuda, that's a cool name, says, R.I.P. Norm Macdonald, long live the GOAT and screw cancer. Jorge, as well as everyone else, I do want to talk about Norm Macdonald a little later in the show tonight because I was a Norm. Still am. Okay, it doesn't matter. Norm Macdonald was great. Put out a lot of great stuff. Was a funny dude and had a lot to say. So I don't want to just rush through that because I do have some things to say about his comedy and his work. And I would like to save that till the end of the show. But Jorge, thank you very much for reminding us. And R.I.P. Norm.
By the way, in order to give you a little hint of what you might find in the Lucifer comic books, like the beginning begins with an old god that came back from the dark days of humanity before we discovered speech, and that was the first enemy. And they gain relevance by granting wishes, and like a girl accidentally wishes her brother dead because he's like an invalid, and she has to take care of him, and she's really angry about doing that. It's like, I wish you were dead, and he dies. And she's going on a like journey with Lucifer. Also, this kind of ends up with Lucifer trying to get his wings back, and he has to do that by outsmarting the entire pantheon of God, the entire Japanese pantheon of gods, by outsmarting, like he does witty, like chess master sort of stuff, just outsmarting them with his wits instead of brute strength. And then towards the end of one of the volumes, he has to take on all the armies of heaven by himself, and he does this with like all kinds of traps and tricks, including like a fallen angel and a demonic giant baby fetus. So it's really interesting how this ends up doing this. When Rosa goes down.
That just came out of your mouth, and a demonic giant baby fetus. It's like,
it's really weird. It's really don't ask how he gets it. Okay, it's really disturbing.
What the blue hell? I'm dead right now.
Hey, Mary, you know who else says what in the blue hell?
Who?
The Rock.
No, he doesn't. You're lying to me right now. No, you're full of shit.
Hold on. Do you really want me to pull up a clip? Or
no, I don't. I don't fucking care, Jeff. Fuck.
You have to take my word for it. Anyway, 007 Cloud, thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Snellworld asks, Resident Evil, the games or the movies? I think that logo was for the game series, so I'm going to take that one. I would never pick the side that had, well, it's like if I had one side that was like Star Wars prequels, Resident Evil, and something else, and the other side was Star Wars sequels, literally anything else, Resident Evil, and then the other shit's getting it. So I'm going with games to pick, but you guys can choose yourself.
Do you remember
007 Cloud.
Do you remember when The Rock had a catchphrase called "How's your lips"? I remember that.
Yeah, because they're about to be smacked right off your face.
Yeah, that was a dark time.
Dang, that wasn't the best one.
It wasn't the best catchphrase to have.
His worst, I guess that would be his worst era, like when he tried to come back, and then it just, you can tell when a performer, an actor, whatever they do, when they're just not in anymore. And that was, it was like, I want to be an actor, I don't care about wrestling. That was that.
Why would you care about wrestling?
Well, you make tens of millions of dollars a year. I think anyone would care if you're making that much money.
But if you had the choice between wrestling and acting.
Oh, I'd take acting every day of the week, just like The Rock did. There's nothing wrong with that. Except when John Cena does the exact same thing.
I like Dwayne Johnson, actually. I quite like the guy.
I'll tell you some cool stories off air.
Okay, cool.
All right, so a few more, and then we're going to get back to our topic for tonight, because I'm dying to talk about this Matrix trailer. So 007 Cloud says 37 in a row. Thank you, 007 Cloud, for both of those. And, I did get Jason Mewes' autograph as well. So, and the guy who plays Randall, Jeff Anderson. So I have Dante, Randall, and Jay autographs. Do I want to get Silent Bob? I don't know. But if that ever happens,
he's just gonna get a bigger ego. Like the guy's head is already too big for his depleted body. Like, I'm just saying.
I mean, you're not wrong, Mary. You're not wrong. Mad Mardigan. I like the super chat. He says, Lord knows I hate agreeing with Mary like ever, but $20 million is not nearly enough. The insurance on a G6 alone will drain it.
Fucking hell, man. Jesus.
SH Rebels 08, thank you. I will make you some purple pancakes like that of Denny's restaurant.
Okay, so that's a comment made from earlier because I don't like pancakes. I think that they are.
What? Okay. Do you know The Rock's favorite dish is pancakes? Mary, stop breaking my heart.
What the? No, dude, maple. Okay, pancakes are nothing more than maple flavored glue that adhere your tongue to the top of your mouth.
You just have had bad pancakes your entire life, Mary.
I've had pancakes. I know. But there was one time I liked pancakes. Okay, and that was like white chocolate chip pancakes from Denny's.
Have you ever eaten at Cracker Barrel?
Yes.
Get their pancakes. They're wonderful.
No, that's a waste of my money, Jeff.
No, it's a waste of your life not to indulge in pancakes.
It's
folks in the chat. If you like pancakes and think Mary is crazy, press 1 in the chat.
You know what? I don't need this shit.
Then pancake your ass on out of here, says Heavy Metal Lion. Oh, thank you. Up next, Mr. X. Thank you very much. He says, Bully lit Dev into playing the new Life is Strange.
Well, I would, but it's like $60. I don't really want to give them the $60 for that garbage. So,
what is it?
Have you ever played Life is Strange? It's like so woke and cringe. It's awful. It's terrible.
Look this up real quick.
People want you to play it just to watch you suffer. It's like my favorite part of Life is Strange 1 was because you had time powers. There's one part where the blue-haired feminist weirdo Chloe, for her best friend, who's like everything horrible in the world. She takes a gun. It's like, I believe that I should have the gun and that men should not have guns. So we go out to the garbage area and to practice the gun, and you tell her where to shoot, and she shoots. And one of the things that she shoots, it's a car. I think the bullet bounces off the car and it hits her. And you're supposed to do the reverse time. Well, I did that like 10 times. I just watched her get shot over and over and over and over. It's like, hey, move on. Like, no, this person's awful. I just want to see her get shot like 10,000 times.
I've just discovered this game, and now I kind of have to get into it. This just looks horrible.
It's terrible. I mean, they're all of them are just complete woke cringe. It's just even the first one.
Have you heard? It's got some controversy. Chinese players start review bombing Life is Strange True Colors over Tibetan flag.
Yeah,
the flag is banned in mainland China.
They acknowledge the Tibetan flag, which is the big no-no. Big no-no. You can't acknowledge that. You can't acknowledge Tibet as something else.
What kind of trash is this fucking game? Like
the worst kind.
I gotta. Okay, so it's made by Square Enix.
Right in the age of Shang-Chi.
So this game just came out a few days ago.
Yeah, a few days
it's
ago,
available on every console, including Google Stadia. Strudel Like Life is Strange True Colors is a graphic adventure played from a third-person view. The player controls the protagonist, Alex Chen, to explore various locations in a fictional setting of Haven Springs and communicate with NPCs through a conversation-based system of dialogue trees. Alex has psychic empathy powers that allows her to read and manipulate the emotions, what she perceives as colorful auras, to physically see how the others around her. Oh my God! At the cost of being infected by their emotions. This sounds like the worst fucking game ever.
It sounds like all of the Life is Strange are the worst games ever made. It's all this complete, like it's like if you ever went to like Tumblr or something like that, it's like exactly that. It's what everyone's like, all empathy, everything. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, it's a constant emotional validation. Everything you see on woke Twitter, it's that turned into a video game, and it's complete trash. And all the guys all are stupid and mean and evil and oppressive, unless of course they're simps, and then they're good guys and they become alpha dogs somehow. I don't know how, but they do.
Oh no! They're not alpha dogs. Somebody made them think that they were. Somebody made them feel special for a minute. Put them alone in a room with the majority of the men in this community and watch them get their asses kicked. Put them alone in the room with a bunch of women in this community and watch them get their asses kicked.
Exactly. The first game takes place at an art college.
What? Oh my God.
It's hell. It's a hell, but instead of a hell, it's a video game.
This game is the realization of every nightmare that we've had for the last 5 years come to life. Like, I'm reading more into this. Empathy superpowers.
The best part about the third one, though, is that it's been coming out. Is that it has a streamer safe mode, which means it takes off all the music and all that stuff that gets you copywritten. But one of the scenes is about two characters doing something incredibly cringe, like dancing to music and then air guitaring. So, but there's no replacement for the music. So instead of jamming out to a song, it's just them jumping around like lunatics to nothing. And it was kind of hilarious. It was great.
Well, I'm so glad that that's an advertising feature. Streamer mode. We take the music out.
They just need a journalist mode to be set.
I mean, this game is essentially video game journalist the game. It's like every check mark this game has.
Pretty much. I don't think you can even lose. And the second game, it was they went more Trumpian, like anti-Trump. There's white guys. Every white guy you meet is like racist or whatever. So they really like to go turn it up to 11 on the wokeness in these games, which makes them like torture to play through.
Valiant Renegade. I'm sorry to cut you off. LiteratureDevil, this just rolled in. Valiant Renegade. Pancakes are maple flavored glue, says Mary. That sticks to the roof of your mouth. Valiant. Sounds like a flavored BJ. What are you complaining about?
I don't have a dick, Valiant. I have no ability to know the context for which you're trying to compare this to. It's like peanut butter, only bad. So, and by the way, I saw somebody in the chat earlier say pancakes aren't made of maple. I know. I said they're maple flavored, right? With the syrup and the
I had
butter
pancakes that the other day that had no maple whatsoever. They were blueberry, Mary. They were delicious. They were cooked in real butter. I'm hungry again. But you're missing out on a culinary world of opportunity in the shape of a pancake.
In the shape of, you mean a circle? Is that?
Nah, pancakes aren't circle. They're just perfect. Adam Walford had a super chat that was very topical. He says, the first game, the girl has time powers. The good ending is the town gets destroyed, and the bad ending is saving the town, but her girlfriend dies.
Oh, yeah. It gives you a choice. Nothing matters during the game. And so no matter what you do in the game, the choice will be the same at the end. And the good choice is that you let the town die, and so you can save your not girlfriend. The bad choice is you go back in time and you let her die. Basically, invalidating the entire game. Because in the beginning, like your friend Chloe gets shot by some weirdo, and you use your time powers to because it's her fault for bullying the guy. So he's so nervous, he pulls a gun and shoots her, and then you turn time back and stop him from shooting her. But that makes a time paradox, and essentially you break time, and it makes like this huge storm. Every time you go back in time, the storm gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and larger and larger and larger until it becomes this gigantic tornado that just obliterates the town. And you can either say, okay, I'll just let the town die so we can save your not girlfriend, or you can go back in time and let her die and then save everyone in the town. And it took me like half a second to make my decision. Chloe, you die. You're done. You're finished. I wish this was done at the beginning, so I don't have to play the game. But unfortunately, they had to wait to the end.
Is that a graph behind her in the room of sad, happy, how are you feeling today, angry, blah, blah, blah?
I think it's the most appropriate picture ever. It's just behind her. It's just angry because all these
angry and sad.
I don't know if I'm ever going to risk it, but I'm so compelled to play this fucking thing.
You should, dude. You should Twitch stream it.
I might. I have a gaming PC now. I see that it's on Steam, so.
I would start off with the first one. It's cheaper, and it's cheaper.
I mean,
Mr. X, you are correct, by the way, about the mileage out of this. Thank you. Infinite Wonder, thank you very much for your generous super chat. In gaming news, yesterday, Total War Warhammer 3 was delayed, but today we got the next trailer showcasing Warhammer China and the change of ways. We've got battle balloons, not robots, and guns.
Oh, you know what?
I saw that today. I was like, what is this dragon thing? It didn't look interesting to me, but I should do a little more research.
Speaking of Life is Strange, China banned soy boys and feminine boys. So I don't know how that's going to affect the Western market now because that's what really trying to push. So
what's going to happen is you're going to get a quick turnaround, man, and you're going to get some bad movies with some macho dudes.
I'll take that. I like bad movies with strong men in it. That's pretty cool. Like I don't like Arnold Schwarzenegger going into like this tearing through a bunch of terrorists in a really terrible action movie. That'd be fine.
Arnold Schwarzenegger before he was saying stupid shit like "F your freedom."
Yeah, something like that. You're like a sane Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Jesus. Sane, yeah, sane Arnold before. Do you think it was the maid when she got her mitts into him that was what changed him, or
it could have been, or all the orgies and the drug? I don't know, whatever it was.
Hold on, can I get some context? What did Arnold Schwarzenegger actually say?
He said, "Fuck your freedom."
In terms of the vaccine,
yeah,
like you take your vaccine, F your freedom, that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
the usual celebrity mantra.
Yeah,
that really hurts coming from that motherfucker. Because
right?
I'm not going off on that tangent again. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna save the tangent. I'm just gonna press the John Cena button.
Who's that Pokemon? It's
John Cena!
Wouldn't a cool version of that be like, who's that Pokemon? And then it goes, it's me, Austin! It's me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's me, Austin! Oh, son of a bitch!
You like that?
Much better. Like perfect. That's the one I prefer. Fantastic. I like that one. That one's way better.
I do too.
It was me all along, Austin.
I don't know. I don't have any context for that, but just the guy in the background going, son of a bitch.
That's what makes it.
That's the best part of it.
Good old JR Jim Ross. He is he's the voice of wrestling. Oh, Mary. Last week I took Jessie to her first wrestling show.
Sorry, Jessie.
No, you lost her. She had an awesome time.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Please stop giving her Kool-Aid, Jeff, for the love of God.
Nah, man. She's having a great time. It's cool dating a girl that likes wrestling and shit. All my friends are like, oh, they talk about wrestling. We went to Skyline afterwards. And Mary, the coolest part about the wrestling show, let me share this image, is your friend Jeff was on TV multiple times. I woke up on Thursday morning to a bunch of listeners. I think Miss Ninja Julian, KR Companion, who's in the chat right now. I get all these pictures of me on TV on Dynamite. So, Mary, I'm going to share this just for you because, talk shit about wrestling. I agree. It's pretty bad, but
cool I just remembered the other day. Oh yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, this is the gift that keeps on giving. This is the trolling of Mary Manning.
It's like the dumbest stuff you ever see. Like I saw this one match between, I think it was like The Rock and somebody else, and they're fighting like these two French stereotypes. Like they're holding like a French flag.
Oh, La Resistance. That's who you're talking about. They sucked.
I saw that one. That was great. There's like obviously they're the bad guys. Like obviously because they're French. I mean, obviously the bad guys.
To be fair, they were Canadians.
Well, yeah, I mean, with playing the French guys, it was hilarious because it was so played up. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen, but it was so fantastic anyway. So, because I got to see like the Americans go in there, beat up the French, and like, yeah, America, and it was awesome. You don't really get that anymore.
There you go, Mary. See,
Try not to laugh. Fuck off. Yeah.
ha 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 ha. So let's start talking about the Matrix. That is tonight's big topic. We'll be back to you guys. Thank you. By the way, thank you to everybody who backs the channel. We'll be back to you guys in not too long. We have a lot of topics to talk about, but kind of having fun with everybody. And now that I figured out what Life is Strange is, thanks to Mr. X, now I think I'm going to go down that rabbit hole, at least in my I'll do it on Twitch. If I'm gonna torture myself, I'm gonna do it for the entertainment of those out there. So, Mr. X, thank you very much. And by the way, folks, we have 300 plus watching, but only 187 thumbs up. Hit that like button and let me know that you enjoy the show. Also had a nice conversation with superfan Adam Shawhan about Good Morning Pop Culture. So if that show happens to come back one of these days, always remember it was superfan Adam Shawhan that helped it happen.
Absolutely.
So, The Matrix. Let's start talking about it. Mary, how was 1999 for you?
I don't know. I was a couple of years away from graduating. I was close to graduating high school. No, I was graduated, I think. I graduated a little early. I don't know. I was a teenager. It sucked. What do you want me to say?
Well, I just wanted to know how 1999 was for you, because it was one of those game-changing years in cinema, and that's not an over statement. 1999, I think there's even a book written about why it's the greatest year on record for film. And one of the most important films, actually the most important film of that year, I would argue, outside of Jurassic Park, no other film is as important as The Matrix is for the 1990s. And folks, think about this all night tonight. But Jurassic Park changed the game for special effects, in terms of CGI. It really helped with animatronic work was perfect. It's a great movie. I don't have anything bad to say about it. But on the flip side, at the end of that decade, The Matrix actually changed the world. I'm going to go with The Matrix as a much more important movie for the 90s, or just in general, bigger impact and than Jurassic Park. Random side question, but Mary, what say you? Matrix or Jurassic Park? What had a bigger impact on the world?
On the world, I would have to say Jurassic Park. No, no disrespect to the Matrix. I agree that it's super important. I just remember CGI becoming front and center because of Jurassic Park and this sort of scientific inquiry of an entire generation. Although, again, scientific inquiry of an entire generation was launched by The Matrix, so that's super hard to say. I'm a little on the fence, so I'll go with Jurassic Park. But I totally understand anyone's perspective of The Matrix.
LiteratureDevil, what say you? Same question.
I'm not really sure. It's a tough call, but I just know that The Matrix was everywhere, more than Jurassic Park, as far as I've seen. Because Jurassic Park, well, yeah, everyone loved it. I love Jurassic Park. I saw like Matrix parodies. I saw people like change things in order to fit the Matrix kind of style. Fighting became more important, as far as I've seen, after the Matrix, because the fighting thing, the whole fighting stuff in the Matrix was interesting. And then, the techniques, dodging bullets and all kinds of shenanigans that they had.
Everything wanted to be the Matrix, yeah.
Right. And the thing is, they kind of what I know, they copied anime, which is Ghost in the Shell, and in terms of its philosophy. So it's kind of interesting in terms of adding like a really interesting, like hard pounding action movie like The Matrix, coupled with the hero's journey. I'm not really sure it's the best iteration of the hero's journey, but they did use the hero's journey like Star Wars did, and it was coupled with action and philosophy that was interesting. Now they didn't, of course, write the philosophy as nearly as well as they'd write it in Ghost in the Shell, but I think it was maybe unique at the time because it's action movie plus philosophy written in, and it was asking questions, moral questions, all kinds of things. Plus, he had the really cool action to keep you interested. Twists and turns, things like that. It's not the best movie ever made, as far as I know, but I do know it was quite influential, as far as I remember, 1999. And because it was the 90s, I assume it was awesome.
Now, I love this debate. Have you seen Fight Club? Yeah, I've seen Fight Club many times. I own Fight Club on Blu-ray. I only own The Matrix on DVD, and I own the Fight Club on DVD as well. But it's kind of silly to compare the two in terms of impact because we're talking Fight Club had that impact narratively, and I think Fight Club is an interesting lens on a certain type of philosophy that had been there beforehand. The Matrix, like you said, you bring in the philosophy, live action anime in a way, the work of what is it? Steve Scorse is his name. There's so much that changes with the Matrix. Movies aren't made the same way anymore. Outside of just a technological achievement, artistically, movies, everything I'm showing you here, they call this a parody or a reference to the Matrix or something. That's awesome. These are all great scenes, but I think impact, has to go to the Matrix. But let's leave that alone for now, and let's talk about this trailer because, like all great films, they make sequels, they make remakes, they do all of that shit. And right now, we're on the precipice of The Matrix 4. It'll be out this Christmas. I don't know if I'm going to go see it in theaters yet, but I know I want to talk about it right now with all you fine people out there. So, Literature Devil, let's start with you, actually. What were your thoughts on this trailer when it dropped?
First of all, who asked for this? Who wanted a fourth Matrix movie? Like no one did. I think they just made it because Keanu Reeves is really popular right now because of John Wick and stuff. So well, he's popular. What else will you do? The Matrix. Let's do another one of those. Even though it kind of ended after the first one, and it kind of the following two kind of felt tacked on. Although they are entertaining, but they felt tacked on. But if 2 and 3 felt tacked on, 4 really feels tacked on. But the trailer was kind of cool. It didn't feel like a Matrix movie. I know where they're going with it. It feels like he's been stuck in the Matrix or whatever it is. Even though he's dead at the end of the third movie, it seems like, and he's taking blue pills to stay asleep. It seems like, but I know where they're going with it. It just feels strange. It doesn't feel like a Matrix movie. It feels like another movie, like a different setting.
Mary, same question to you.
I'm going to be fully candid here, and I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate for this. So just hear me out before you. Oh, no. Calm down. Relax. Hear me out before you make a decision. I loved the trailer. The trailer looked like a lot of fun. Of course, I had no context at the time for the trailer. And I was well aware that the Wachowski sisters were trying to make another sequel to this for a long time. So that was something, you're right. Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this except the Wachowskis, right? That's it. Just the Wachowskis. But they really wanted this. And
I think there's a reason why, because what have they done since the Matrix? I mean, they did a few movies.
Well, they changed. Never mind. Leave that alone.
You know what, though, Literature Devil? That's an excellent statement to make, or question to ask, because I wanted to make this statement. The Wachowskis are one-note ponies. That The Matrix was such a big deal. Warner Brothers just keeps cutting them checks for flop after shit movie after shit movie. Really, let me look up their entire fucking career. They're the Wachowski brothers on the first Matrix movie. You can't go back. If they're going to change the credits, then I'll change it. But Lana Wachowski today, but the Wachowski brothers, the first Matrix movie, that's when the shit was, the big deal. But
it was a novel idea, right? It was symbolic and it meant stuff. And so
it meant stuff, yeah.
But that was really for those of you but Mary's never seen the Matrix. Yes, I've seen the Matrix trilogy. And I enjoyed the first movie. The second two are whatever, they progressively get worse as you go. But the only one that actually means anything to me is the first one. And for me, it's really over the years become more and more superficial because we've advanced. At the time, of course, it was this novel idea that was being presented to people on a mass scale. And so at the time it had this real significance. And now it's sort of like, okay, yeah, but I'm reading a bajillion articles on this exact topic that do a much better idea of presenting the concept to people since then. And so now it feels like it boils down to it's just symbolic and it means stuff. And so for you to rehash this idea, right, you're going to have to come up with something more, and you're going to have to do something better than simply revisiting the Matrix, because that notion is no longer it's not invalid, but it's no longer novel to people. And so you're going to have to do something, and I'm not convinced they know how to do that. The trailer looked great, but you know what, so did the Last Jedi trailer. And so
I don't know about that, Mary.
I loved the trailer for The Last Jedi. At the time, I was like, oh my God, we're getting the Grey Jedi, guys.
I thought it looked like The Empire Strikes Back.
I thought we were going to get the Ashla and the Bogan. I thought we were going to get the Grey Jedi. That turned out not to be the case. But the way it was presented.
We learned the hard way.
The Matrix
We
show
don't
didn't
trust
really
Disney.
feel offensive to me. It didn't feel all that offensive. It's just kind of weird that Neo is back and Trinity is there and all kinds of stuff.
So let's, Care Companion, you know the title of the show, but yeah, this is essentially, from what I've seen, The Matrix Rebooted. Obviously, the blue pill allegory is a little heavy, but the trailer looked fine. Visually, The Matrix is in whatever era. The Matrix is a lot like a Martin Scorsese film. Martin Scorsese comes in and creates a genre, and then he usually comes in and perfects it, and then nobody else really makes those types of films. The Matrix comes in, it really revolutionizes the special effects, the storytelling, this, that, and the other. And now The Matrix is coming back into the world that it created 21, 22 years ago at this point. And I think that's an interesting conversation to have, but we also live in the world where what that means is the low-key remake. Force Awakens, what was the other one that I always use? Oh, Halloween 2018, Ghostbusters, this. Now, Ghostbusters is actually a little different because Halloween 18, Force Awakens, and this are all sold as sequels. That movie was always sold as a reboot, but I guess we'll call it a soft reboot, a backdoor reboot, whatever you want to call it. But what it is it's a movie to sell the same visuals and story as the first one to a new audience in the hopes that you can then retell the second and third one to that same new audience, but that never works. Folks, I think we have another one of those on our hands with Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, the new film. Hearing a lot of interesting stuff about it, not necessarily good, but I think these rebooted trilogies all tend to fail. Now, if Halloween Kills brings in less than Halloween 2018, we're watching the Star Wars sequel trend. Force Awakens, biggest movie of all time for a hot second, I think. Then The Last Jedi comes in $700 million less. Rise of Skywalker, $300 million less for $1 billion loss among the trilogy. That's what happens with these things. I don't think The Matrix 4 is going to be above that. What will happen is it'll come out, it'll make its great money, it'll make good money, it'll make a little less, they'll blame the pandemic, they'll say HBO Max. They'll probably push forward with another one, and that's when you'll really get rid of it. Didn't Neo die in the third one?
He did.
Yeah.
What the fuck? I forgot about that. I hate the third one. Sorry.
Well, that's the problem with this kind of shit is that it comes in and for a series that everybody is willing to overlook its flaws on at the end, and people are willing to look back and remember the Matrix fondly, it has to come in and it has to further lower the prestige of these franchises, right? Lawrence Fishburne isn't even in this damn thing. They just got a guy with some face dimples and called it handled. What the fuck is going on here? Why are you determined to go in and jump back into the sandbox that you left 20 years ago and cats have spent 20 years pissing in? What is going on right now? Why are we doing this?
I remember at the end of the third one, didn't he fought Agent Smith, and then Agent Smith kind of infected him with the Agent Smith virus, and then he kind of just died, as far as we know. This would be like Jesus. He's supposed to be like the guy who sacrificed himself for the sake of everyone else. The one. And now he's alive again somehow because it's still Keanu Reeves. It's still Neo.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Neo died saving Zion from getting blown to fuck, right?
That was the whole thing, yeah. That was the conflict, and then it became the Matrix and Neo kind of teamed up to take down Agent Smith because he became a larger problem than either one of them could handle.
I've heard some rumblings that Trinity is going to be the chosen one this
She's
time
been the
around.
one the whole time.
Yeah, it was her all along. She's the one who sacrificed her life in the last movie, after all, right? I think I saw somebody in the chat say, that it was implied that if it was implied that he died, right, then it's implied that he died. But I do remember Trinity did die. I mean, I don't want this. What the fuck, dude? If the whole point of coming in and bringing this back up is cashing on this notion that Keanu Reeves is riding this really amazing wave of popularity, why the fuck would you go in and usurp that?
I don't know. You should be everything should be about Keanu Reeves right now. There's Keanu Reeves. This guy's going to be, unless he does something horrible at one point, this guy's going to be beloved forever. This guy's great. Yeah. Everyone just loves him. He's good to everybody. He loves puppies. I mean, it's great. Like, he's just a great guy to follow around. I mean, to look to see what he does. He's like, you're breathtaking. He's great. He seems a fun guy. He doesn't really attack anybody.
A genuine guy who you could go sit on a tram with, who you could go sit on the subway with, and he would just read his paper. Here's what I never understood, and you guys can stake me if I'm wrong, okay? I never understood why anybody liked Trinity. She's a stick in the mud. She's a plank. She's a board. I've never seen the woman express anything resembling emotions, right? I don't understand how you could fall in love with something that is a tree. She's just a tree. She's just stationary, and she's completely and utterly incapable of expressing anything that would come across as a human emotion. I'm convinced she was just a line of code that was presented to Neo as having been a real person. It's look at that. Okay, so she had a good ass. That's a thing.
I guess that's a replacement for personality.
That's a complete replacement for personality. But look, you could stick a corgi in a leather suit and it would have an ass that looked like that. I'm just saying, leather does a lot for an ass.
I mean, with Trinity, it was kind of hilarious in the first movie. That's like all of a sudden, like, oh, Neo's dead. Oh no! Then all of a sudden, she's like, I love him. What? When? When did you fall in love with the guy? Because like her whole thing is like she's talking on the phone with him, and it's like the dumbest thing happens where they're running, and then she has to stop and tell them that she loves him, and how the Oracle that's how she knows she's the one, because the Oracle told her, hey, you're gonna fall in love with the chosen one, and then she's like, I'm in love with you, Neo. The Oracle told me that I would fall in love with the chosen one, and I love you.
With that monotone, bland fucking voice.
Yes, exactly.
That doesn't know how to raise or lower itself, even when you're expressing your undying love to someone.
Exactly. I love you, Neo, and I really love you. And then Neo's like, I guess I love you too.
I guess this is love.
The thing is, you could have told them that back at the base, right? But the thing is, like, they're running from people, and then she's like, she stalls them just so you can tell them that, and then she escapes, and then because she ate up all the time, Neo can't escape now. That's how he ends up fighting like Agent Smith and stuff. It's just kind of a dumb moment.
It was like the whole relationship between them was like somebody second or third hand explaining to aliens what love was, and then them writing it down in the script that this was how they thought humans expressed affection towards one another. Right?
George Lucas's weird neckbeard dialogue that Anakin spewed out.
It's like they were told that in movies human beings were supposed to make out sometimes, and so they just stuck that in there, and they chucked it in with the rest of it, assuming that this was how things went, right? And so I've never understood the romance between those two characters. Unless something drastically changes for this movie, I'm not interested in returning and seeing another bullshit romance they recast. Yeah, I know. Why the hell is Lawrence Fishburne not in this?
Well, there's some bullshit excuse. Do you guys want to hear?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so... all right, Morpheus' absence from the new Matrix. Where was it at? All right, here we go. The answer may in fact lie in the answer may in fact lie in the most unlikely of places, the Matrix Online, the MMO version of the Matrix trilogy. When the Matrix Revolutions debuted in 2003, interviews suggest that the Wachowskis had no intention of releasing another installment in that series. Instead, the plan was to pass on the reins of the series' storytelling to the audience itself by way of the Matrix Online. In the MMO, players assumed the role of newly awakened Red Pill, who chooses from one of several factions formed between the humans and machines in the wake of the events of the third film. The game had players interact with several main characters, including Oracle, Seraph, and consequently Morpheus. So our films never intended for a passive audience, said the Wachowskis. We wanted our audience to have to work, to think, to have to actually participate and enjoy them. So I guess, here we go. In the events of the Matrix Online, which took place after the Matrix Revolutions, Morpheus returned to the Matrix to consult the Oracle as to why, despite the apparent truce between the machines and humans, the machines had not yet returned Neo's remains to Zion. Morpheus, along with a number of players who choose his faction, set about trying to reconstruct Neo's residual self-image, his digitally generated avatar within the Matrix, as a way of hopefully resurrecting him. Frustrated by his failure to do so, Morpheus began demanding the machines to return Neo's body. With no other options, Morpheus then began detonating code bombs across the Matrix, compromising the integrity of the simulation as a whole as a way of forcing the machines to comply with his demands. After setting off one of the code bombs, Morpheus was ambushed by the Assassin, a program created by machines, and killed. Some players at the time theorized that Morpheus might have faked his death and gone into hiding, but this theory remained unresolved at the time of the Matrix's online cancellation in 2009.
God, I don't understand
So we're not getting Lawrence Fishburne because of his stupid MMO game.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
dumb.
Is it because Lawrence Fishburne's fat now? Like, that's fine if it's because he's fat, because the rest of this does feel. No, I saw somebody say that in the chat, and I was like, oh my god, that's probably it, right?
For John Wick, I don't know why they couldn't get him for the Matrix. I don't know why that was such a big deal. Well, I guess I know now.
The Matrix 4 is essentially going to tell the same story with modern ways to describe technology. Because when I was reading that the residual self-image thing, and they say Avatar, 1999 tech lingo is rooted in 1999 technology, or 98 or 7, whenever the fucking script was written. But the Web 2.0 and the way we consume the internet, that's the only compelling part of the Matrix. But again, here's a question, or maybe it's rhetorical, but why would you, this world that's created in the 90s with that version of whatever, would it update it? Never mind. I guess you got to watch to ask those questions. It doesn't matter. Girthy Guitarist SD says, at least they're keeping their canon. Yeah. That's something. But Ross Davis, I agree with you. That explanation sounds very convoluted.
So convoluted. It's so convoluted.
I do want to make one point about the Matrix that I think did very well in context of today's media, was that Neo was the one. Like, he was explained as the chosen one, like not just a guy who's really good at stuff, but he was like the legitimate chosen one. And we kind of figure out that later on in the movies that he was like an anomaly in the Matrix. I think it keeps popping up and repeating itself. Keeps coming up with the one. So he was legitimately like the one guy who would just become this awesome like this hero of humanity. This guy who can do anything he wanted in the Matrix. This anomaly within the code. Like Anakin Skywalker was. But you know what Neo still needed? A mentor. Neo still had training. He was literally the chosen one, like a god in the Matrix. He still needed training and a mentor. Yeah. They did that. So praise the Matrix that they did that very well. And not only did they do that very well, they made an iconic, who would become an iconic mentor? Morpheus. They gave him a really good mentor. And he went through a training session. And he didn't really become awesome until the very end of the first movie. Like at the very end of the first movie, when it really counted, after he literally died, that's when he started getting his powers and able to fight back against Agent Smith. He had to go through a time of death, and then he was brought back by love for Trinity that he had for some reason, and then he was able to finally conquer Smith, able to hold his own against the guy. So it wasn't just he started off being awesome already. He was talented, sure, but he still needed training. He still needed a mentor, and he still needed to go down a road of trials in order to achieve his full potential. So like, oh, you guys just like as other characters because you hate Rey because she's a woman. How about Luke Skywalker? He was a Mary Sue. How about Neo? He was a Mary Sue. He was literally a chosen one. No. Like Luke Skywalker and Neo, they both went through a hero's journey. They failed. They hurt themselves. They had mentors and training.
They don't understand that concept is altogether too well. I'm sure that they could understand it if they bothered to take the time. But it's highly inconvenient. It's so incredibly inconvenient.
Yeah,
and if you would please just stop pointing that out. Yeah, if you could just stop pointing that out, that would be great.
The stories would be just so easy. We didn't have to do the blasted story stuff.
I'm convinced that's the issue, right? Because you can't have a conversation, right? You can't explain this because they're still going to argue semantics and move goalposts, and it's going to get very, very difficult to just have an actual sit down. Okay, let's talk about this rational moment with these people. And so you're reduced to just throwing up your hands and going, forget it, and fucking walking away because it's just far too inconvenient for them, right? It's just so inconvenient for you to point at the reality of what actually goes down. That Neo fucking fell. I remember when he goes to jump across. Remember, right?
Yeah, he's falling and he boings on
it boings him off exactly, and he's like, "Why am I not dead?" And he's like, "Oh, this is a training simulation."
He comes out and he's bleeding and everything.
But he busted his face up.
Neo starts off. He's just a regular hacker, right? He's just a regular hacker who, he's an office worker who hacks on the or whatever on the side, whatever the 90s version of hacker was, which is super awesome. And then he gets a call to adventure, which is, he goes to Trinity and he goes to that nightclub. That was really weird. I actually read the script of The Matrix. They were really passionate about this movie. Like the Wachowskis, they were really passionate. You can feel it.
Oh yeah,
in the script, it was really good. And then, of course, you get the call to adventure. He, of course, refuses. Like, I don't want to do that because that's a normal thing to have. And then, he gets in trouble with the agents, and he loses them. He decides to say, "No, what? I'm surrendering. Screw this, and I don't want to listen to Morpheus anymore." Fails that. He's eventually able to cross over. There's just the agents being the official guardian. He's able to cross over from the ordinary world to the extraordinary one. And then we get the whole thing about the Matrix and the war and everything. And then that begins. He meets his mentor, which is essential, really essential for a hero to have, which is Morpheus. Morpheus being one of my favorite mentors of all time. I love Morpheus as mentor. He's so cool. He's so good at it. Lawrence Fishburne really plays a really good. He plays a really good mentor. He has all the charisma he needs to be a mentor. He's a really good mentor actor. But then he goes to the road of trials, which is I know kung fu, that sort of stuff. And he starts fighting, and Morpheus beats him, and he tests him with jumping, and basically Neo continues to be. It gets better, but he continues to fail throughout the rest of the movie. Like, everyone else around him is better at everything than he is. He's like dead weight throughout the movie. It's like Luke Skywalker was essentially dead weight through most of the movie. He got some good points here and there, but it wasn't until the end where he's able to finally become the one and take the fight back to the agents. And that's where it goes. I mean, he dies and he's able to fight Agent Smith, but before that, he was able to do some really cool stuff as well. Mm-hmm. It's there because he starts elevating himself. He starts getting better and stronger as he overcomes more emotional and physical obstacles. Emotional being, oh no, my mentor has been captured. Which, by the way, the Matrix, bravo, is again, take away the mentor. It's essential. People kind of take that as the mentor has to die. He doesn't necessarily have to die. It doesn't have to be like a Obi-Wan Kenobi sort of scenario. But it's essential for the hero to lose the mentor in some capacity. And they did that with Morpheus in an interesting way. They made it his end goal. They got to rescue Morpheus. We got to rescue my mentor because we need this guy. And the best part about that in the Matrix is that it's not just because Morpheus is a mentor and a friend to Neo at that time. It's because Neo thinks he isn't the one. He doesn't believe he's the one. He thinks he's a failure. He thinks that he's worthless. And that Morpheus sacrificed, this great leader, Morpheus, sacrificed himself for Neo. Mm-hmm. And Neo feels so much guilt, and he feels so bad about that because Morpheus believes he is the one, and he feels so bad about that. And
you know what just happened as you were talking right there? And I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had this flash into an alternate reality of what could have been with Star Wars. That's what it all comes back to for me, folks. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But like you just brought up a really great point about how it's important and imperative to remove the mentor from the situation in order for us to, in order for the up and comer, the one who's meant to do something important and special, the hero of the story, to find their own ability to stand on their own 2 feet.
Net has
right?
to go away. The safety net has to vanish.
It has to go away, right? They've been treating us, the studios, Hollywood in general, people who make these movies have been treating us as moviegoers, as patrons of these films, as though we are too stupid to understand that necessity, right? So, they treat us as though we can't accept that, right? That's entirely untrue. It's in fact we've like frequented these stories so long that I'm convinced at this point that we could write better ones than the morons in Hollywood. But we've accepted that. Can you imagine if they'd done that with Luke Skywalker? If we'd gotten a fully fleshed out Rey and someone who'd actually trained under Luke, exactly. And he'd had to give his life for her.
Yeah, I would. I argue now that the most insidious, most like the stupidest thing that people who defend Last Jedi have done is try to convince you that wanting to see Luke Skywalker be awesome and go out there with his lightsaber, not laser sword, lightsaber, destroy and just dominate the First Order is selfish, and that we should feel bad for wanting to see it. No, not only do we want to see that because it'd be awesome, right? It's essential for us to see that, to see why he deserves to be a mentor. Where has this guy been? How powerful is this man? Mm-hmm. Remember Obi-Wan Kenobi? We got to see a force of his strength in the bar, right? Not even from the bar. Before that, the sand people on Tatooine were really, really vicious and fierce. And then here comes Obi-Wan Kenobi saying, "Hey, just get out of here." And they're like, "Oh my goodness, Obi-Wan Kenobi," and they leave. And then the guy at the bar, he just slices the guy's arm off, and everyone just says, "I thought Obi-Wan Kenobi, just quiet down, just go back to playing our music or whatever." This guy, Obi-Wan Kenobi, was a good, excellent mentor. He was cool under pressure. He was. I like him a little bit more than like Morpheus. Morpheus is good. Obi-Wan. There's a lot of other stuff. The reason why I like Obi-Wan Kenobi as my favorite character in all of Star Wars, but he's a really good mentor. At least if you take from the first movie, he's confident. He's kind of like pleasant and happy to be around, but he's like he kind of personifies the code of the Jedi. He's really friendly. He's really easy to get along with. He smiles. He has that warmth to him. But when stuff has to go down, he'll take out that lightsaber and kill a man with not a second thought.
All of this written into moments, just minutes worth of a scene to convey these concepts and ideas to people, right? We don't need the scene to go on for 20 fucking minutes. We just need, 5 minutes here and there, a few establishing stuff that's coherent and lines up well with the rest of the story narrative, right? You don't have to spend 10 years establishing it. Just establish it. Just establish it. That's all we're asking, right? Just get it out there.
Imagine if my fix in my videos that I've actually put in my videos that or one of the things he could have done was have Rey, instead of waiting for a parent, she was waiting for a Jedi mentor. That she maybe I kind of put forth. I got it from one of my viewers that what if she was the apprentice of Ahsoka Tano, for example, and that Ahsoka Tano went off to go do something, she never came back, and that's who she's waiting for. That would explain why she has some familiarity with the Force and why she can gain some Force powers. It's still dumb the way she gains it, but it would have a little bit more foundation as to how she's able to learn this stuff. But
anything.
And then we get a mentor from Luke Skywalker where he's wise. He's maybe he's dark and brooding, whatever. I don't know how he got there, but he's wise, but also a really good mentor, a really good teacher, and actually teaches her stuff instead of doing nothing and saying, "Oh my goodness, you're dark and evil." He says, "You know what? I'm going to train you anyway. I'm going to turn all that evil, that potential for darkness you have in you, into good, because I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm awesome." But instead, it's the opposite of that. They go, "I'm Luke Skywalker, and my legacy was really good because I'm a hero. Oh my goodness, I'm a hero. Oh my goodness, the Jedi have to end because one guy did bad things." Like
I fucked up my nephew, guys. I'm really sorry, and I'm not coming out of my room until things sort themselves out.
He's like a brief.
Now hold on 1 second. Because we are going to be talking a lot about The Last Jedi in just a moment. There's actually somebody, I'll share it. 5 reasons why I think Star Wars fans will one day love the Star Wars sequels, especially The Last Jedi from Cinema Blend.
No.
So I want to read you guys these 5 reasons. Are you ready?
Oh my God, help me.
So
hit us.
Let's just close out the Matrix real quick, get caught up with the audience, and then we'll jump right onto that one. So folks,
perfect.
Be prepared for that. Anything else you guys want to say? I do think we live in a world where the hero's journey gets remade just to subvert our expectations and shit on our classic heroes, just to rub your nose in the dirt, to let people know, it doesn't matter. They don't want to share a story of optimism or hope. I can't think of only a handful of characters that get to come back from retirement and not completely suck. John McClane. Yeah, Die Hard 5 sucks, but Die Hard 4 actually tells a pretty good story.
I keep forgetting Die Hard 5 is a thing.
Dude, I try to. That is the only Die Hard.
I just had an idea, Jeff.
Yeah.
What if, how, okay, so I know we're going to get to it in a little bit, but you were just saying something that sort of sparked an idea in my mind. What if we took all of these ideas that the crazies are fucking really into and we fucked them up on purpose? Seriously, we get so many hate clicks. We just start making like short animations, taking characters that they love so much and turning them into complete assholes or idiots or morons, like anything really. And then having them, I'm just saying.
No, I think this is a wonderful idea. What we can do is the way we can start is we can turn it into illustrations that I'll do as a joke. And then we can get somebody to start with animations. We can start building that. I think it's a wonderful idea.
They would be so pissed off, and maybe it's like when your kid hits you, right, and you smack them back to show them that hurts. Don't do that. It's like teaching toddlers. We can help save the world, Jeff. We can save the world.
We need to. Let's change it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. It just occurred to me. I'm gonna write this idea down and put it on the wall.
I actually had the idea with my for like a Subscribe Star thing. It's like I was going to do with my Subscribe Star or whatever. I called it like Project Rewrite. I'm not doing it yet. I was going to do like little comic book pages. I already talked to artists and stuff like that I know, and they're willing to do it. Comic book pages where I kind of fix this stuff, like like rewrite Rey as if she's following the hero's journey, and where Luke Skywalker is awesome again, and how he should have been. Maybe explore why he turned evil, or turned to a brooding, or turned to a boy, whatever it is. But like going into their stories and writing it in a way that's traditional, a way that follows craft. And
no. I'm talking about something completely different, Lit. I'm talking about making it awful on purpose. I'm talking about legitimately making this shit terrible. Okay,
the same coin. I wanted to fix stuff that they ruined. You wanted to ruin the stuff.
I want to ruin it worse. I want to ruin it worse. I want it to wind up being like some Beavis and Butthead level stupid that just like really goes off the deep end, where it's like it finally dawns on them. Oh, this is what we did to what they like. My bad. I got ya. Like let's just flush it down the toilet. I don't care. Let anarchy reign. Light it on fire.
Anarchy rules. Mary, that's the name of a wrestling video game. Sorry.
Oh, fuck you, Jeff.
Anyway, final thoughts on The Matrix, LiteratureDevil. Final question is, do you think like a remake in the vein of The Force Awakens or Halloween 2018, where it's a sequel, but it's not really?
That's what it seems like. Neo is trapped in the Matrix again. Trinity's alive. Blue pills, red pills everywhere. Seems he has to reawaken. It seems like it's going to be one of those soft reboots like Force Awakens was. I don't know for sure, obviously, but it has a lot of the same hints. Like, it doesn't seem like a sequel. It seems more like, okay, he's stuck in the Matrix again, and now he has to find his way out again. He's going to be woke again, and he's going to be woke when he comes out. It's going to be interesting. So, I don't know. Hopefully it's a good movie. I can only hope it's a good movie. I didn't find anything objectively offensive in the trailer. So I didn't see any wokeness. There wasn't like a point where they go, stupid men or whatever. So there's nothing I can discern from the trailer that reads terribly, that has a bad sign, at least not yet anyway. They might come up with a second one. You know that James Bond moment from the new James Bond that has yet to come out. Like it's like about that plane, and it's a dick joke about how his dick is suffering or something like that. Like, oh, it never happens. I swear, with the plane or whatever. I think they made like a dick joke just to embarrass and punish James Bond. I didn't see any of that in the Matrix trailer, although I only seen it a few times. But I didn't see any of that offensiveness in there just yet. But it could be in the movie. It definitely could be in the movie.
I think it's too soon to tell exactly what route they're going to take. We're going to have to wait a little bit. Obviously there's some chatter going on that gives a bit of extra context, but I couldn't say whether or not this is going to like soft reboot it or anything like that. I think it will. But it's also possible that it's just going to go like the way of Jurassic World, where it extends it. It just depends. It just depends. We're going to have to wait a little bit, I think.
Although I did like the use of the White Rabbit song. I know people find that offensive. Like, how dare you use that? But I like that song.
It works though.
It fits with the motif of the Matrix.
It's the only piece of actual art in that goddamn trailer, if you think about it.
It kind of is, yeah.
Everything else is just
kind of generic. Everything else is kind of generic. It didn't feel like deep or mind-boggling. It just felt generic movie trailer, except for the music.
Where I'm sitting with this trailer is the remake category, but I think The Matrix 4 is going to do the thing that a lot of people are going to like. It's going to solidify John Wick as Keanu Reeves' greatest series, because they haven't made a bad one of those, and The Matrix, in my eyes, is just one good movie. So the difference between The Matrix... one last thing. The Force Awakens to Star Wars, Matrix to Matrix Rebooted. Matrix and Star Wars, game changer films. Everything is different after they're made. When you try to bring them back to society, to culture, to whatever you want to phrase it, when you try to bring it back to the world, it doesn't matter anymore, because it can't achieve the thing the first one did, and it never reaches those highs because it created something else. They literally changed the world. So unless you have another movie that's going to change the way we think, that's going to change the way we make films, that change the way we see physics, the way we integrate worldwide culture into our films and TV shows and everything. I mean, the Animatrix, that was mainstream anime in 2003, when there was a ton of anime around the world, and in America it was on TV, but it was still different. I know. Look, I was at Media Play and Suncoast and all these stores buying my DVDs of this shit back then. It was there, but it wasn't as ubiquitous as it is now. The Matrix was always on the cutting edge. Where it's gone. It's past its prime. to be the Matrix, to be great, it has to be cutting edge and change things. And they really stopped that in the second movie. So to think the fourth one's going to achieve that the second one couldn't do, no, thank you. Mahler entered the chat. That'd be cool. So let's jump over back to the audience and see what is up with everyone.
Hey, what's that music from?
That music is not from The Matrix. So, Valiant Renegade, thank you very much. Newer Zelda looks amazing. I just couldn't spend the time to get myself acclimated to the 3D game control. New Metroid side-scroller? I'll wreck that shit.
I'll teach you, Valiant. I shall teach you.
Valiant, I'm going to buy the new Metroid because I need to cover myself online. Everyone online thinks I'm this terrible sexist, so I'm going to act like I like a female video game character to get brownie points. It's not like I play 95% of my Smash Brothers games as Samus. Actually, all joking aside, I can't wait for that fucking game. Metroid games have always been pretty fun.
I always, whenever you can choose a female or male character, I always play the man because I'm an evil misogynist.
Yeah. Well, LiteratureDevil, I will take it one step further. If the new GTA is female centric and all this stuff, like people online want to do, to stoke the fire and make us think that's the one thing I will put my foot down. Like as soon as I see it, I go, nope, because they killed it. It's a weird. It's like when you try to make something like, okay, Saints Row. Everyone's fucking fed up with how they're doing.
Oh yeah, Saints Row. I'm more offended by Saints Row because I'm a big fan of Saints Row. I played every single one of their games, and now I was like, it's always been like. No, it hasn't. If you say it's always been like this, no, it hasn't been. You obviously were not a fan of the games. Saints Row is amazing. I love it. The fourth one is dumb, and the third one is interesting. They're really, really fun to play all the way up to the fourth one was kind of weird. I didn't really like the fourth one as much, but first three are a lot of fun. Really, really stupid, but a lot of fun. Second one I think is the best one overall.
Now, Wolf's Pain sends in an excellent super chat that says, Mary, if you wanted to go to Neverland, just take a trip. LSD. I'm talking about LSD. Buffalo Jeff can oblige if you want. Yeah, Mary.
Oh.
LSD. I drink, therefore I am. Thank you for your super generous super chat. Me. Matrix. Can we have Morpheus? Matrix. We have Morpheus at home. Morpheus at home. Rip off of Alita. And Mary, look up D&D Dragonlance. You would play an amazing Kender.
They made a Dragonlance movie before, and that was I think it's online for free on YouTube because it was so terrible. No one really cares about it anymore. But the voice, it's really interesting because it was a terrible movie. No one liked it. As far as I know, everyone just like riffs on it, makes fun of it. But it had like a lot of star power in there. It had Keith Sutherland play the evil mage guy, Raislin. And it had Lucy Lawless in there, and it had a bunch of other guys in there, like some the main people I know. Lucy Lawless was in there, Xena, and Keith Sutherland. The odd people to bring into D&D, but they were in there, and it was kind of cool. But it feels like really generic D&D stuff. I guess to be fair, I think Dragonlance and series like that were like the some of the stuff that made the fantasy stuff, the fantasy cliches, gave birth to them. Kind of like like Wolfenstein and Doom and everything gave birth to the cliches of the first person shooter genre. But like the half elf is hated by the humans because he's half elf, and he's hated by the elf because he's half human. The dwarf and the elf age, all that stuff. They kind of made that kind of mainstream, but it's all in there. I think that's why people don't like it because it's kind of cliche. The story isn't all that great. It's kind of over the top, but it's fun. I found it fun to watch. It's interesting. It's a lot of fun. It's dumb, but it's a lot of fun, and it's full of cliche, full of delicious, scrumptious cliche.
Now, Wolf's Pain, Mary, welcome back to the show.
Thanks. Sorry. What are we talking about?
You actually. Wolf's Pain sent in a super chat that says, Mary, if you wanted to go to Neverland, just take a trip. LSD. I'm talking about LSD. Buffalo Jeff can oblige if you want.
Drugs are bad, okay? Drugs are bad.
Well,
good.
I mean, I'm not into LSD or electric Kool-Aid or whatever the hell Ken Kesey wrote about, but I don't know. I don't judge.
No, I'm not judging anybody. You guys are welcome to do whatever you like with your own body. But I think I shall steer clear. I have my drug of choice is alcohol, and so that's what I stick with.
Now, another one you had missed from I Drink Therefore I Am, he had said you would play an amazing Kender from D&D Dragonlance. So I did pull that up. There's one on screen. And then we had Infinite Wanderer with another super chat for clarification who says, fair warning, the Kender are thieving little things who are too naive to understand theft, but had an instinctual desire to take stuff. It's an insult. Oh, okay.
That sounds racist.
There you go. See, that's how you control people on this show. Like, if you make a D&D burn, I don't get it because I don't play. But
oh, gee, what's that feel like?
Well, pretty awesome. Actually, it doesn't bother me at all, Mary, because Dr. Coffinhouse has a question. Mary, the Montreal Screwjob, shoot or work? Your honest opinion.
I don't fucking care. That's the wrestling thing, right?
Yeah, but you know what? Dr. Coffinhouse hung out with us at Horror Hound. He's part of the Second Floor crew. If he sends in a message, Mary, you gotta understand the weight that it carries.
I feel like I shouldn't have to explain myself here. No, nothing but love for Dr. Coffinhouse. Actually, I see him over in my chat sometimes as well. He's a very sweet person, and I appreciate it. Wrestling's just stupid. So,
there you go, Mary. Montreal Screwjob.
Looks gay.
Valiant Renegade. Thank you very much. This is a great super chat. He says, Mary hates wrestling, fez hats, and pancakes. She's a sweet girl with her own proclivities, like donkey shows. Mary does love Tijuana donkey shows.
What the hell are you on about right now, Valiant? What the actual fuck?
Wrestling thing.
Oh, Tijuana donkey shows are a wrestling thing?
Hell no. Watch Clerks 2. I'm the sexy stud. Tell it can be a dude's name too, Mary.
Jesus Lord.
Have you really never? Never mind. Why do I'm never gonna ask. Have you? Never mind. Wolf's Pain says Mary is the Brian from the Life of Brian movie. Mary, I don't like wrestling. Everyone else, she does like wrestling.
She has to love it too. She must love it too. We will make her love it too. I don't want to, and you can't make me.
Picking up.
Omegon 32 says, "Hail, Jeff. Don't know how long I'll be in the chat, but Hollywood can suck it." Yeah, they can. They can. Rob Brand says, "Jeff, do you have the Stone Cold Bedpan clip for Mary?" No, but I will next week. Mary, expect to learn about why Vince McMahon was in a nightgown.
What? Because he's gay? It feels like he's gay is the right answer here.
I mean, he only has a family and a wife and 2 children.
That doesn't mean he's not gay.
He procreated with a female multiple times and has stayed with her. And he's also on record for, liking the ladies. But he could be gay, says Mary. Grumpy old ninja Kentaro Oi. Thank you very much for your super chat. He says, first super chat, Blue Pill. Okay, here we go, guys. Blue Pill, Superman, Master Jedi Luke Skywalker, and Blade here to clean this place up. Red Pill, I go with Weapon Zero, Battle Chasers Comics. I'm going to go with Blue Pill because it's Luke Skywalker, Superman, and Blade. 2 dudes with swords, 2 dudes with superpowers, and 1 dude that can't be stopped. He's like Jackie Chan and Super Cop.
I mean, I feel like anything that involves actual Luke Skywalker is the route to take. But
Superman is awesome.
Yeah, Superman's legit.
Well, technical chat, thank you very much. Mary, Red Pill, Mankind, Dude Love, or Blue Pill, Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and Mr. Sacco.
Is this another wrestling question?
Yes, it is.
Okay, you know what? I fucking quit.
Well, technical chat, to answer your question, I would pick the Blue Pill because, Red Pill. Mankind is my favorite. But Cactus Jack, Mick Foley, and Mr. Sacco are great, but Mankind, I gotta go Mankind, man. TLJ Screwjob likes to stoke the fire of the eternal battle. Sorry, Jeff, but waffles over pancakes.
Waffles. Seriously, why the hell would you sit there and eat pancakes
when they don't serve waffles at IHOP?
Eat French toast, sir.
Because I like freedom and I don't like, I don't like to eat the food. Actually, I don't give a shit where my food comes from as long as it's good and good quality. But I like French toast a lot. My favorite French toast as a kid was that Aunt Jemima shit from the freezer section. I used to eat that before school. So good.
I'm sorry to everybody in the chat who's wanting to know what the hell is going on over here. My computer monitor slipped out of its base and I can't get it to sit back in properly. So it's just not sorry. I'll prop it. It's fine. This is fine. I'll just prop it. This is fine. This is fine.
Okay. Hey, Mary.
What?
Is it fine?
Is what fine?
All of it. Your monitor, all of it.
Oh, it'll be fine. I just can't get it to click back down into the base. And so when I move it, it's not.
It sounds like a digital fart.
Does it? Mm-hmm. That one was juicy. Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. My
computer is queefing.
My computer is having a complete butt chug moment. So
I think my computer is queefing is a nice alliterative title, folks.
My computer
let's get Chuck Tingle on the phone. LiteratureDevil. Should we write that in the way of Chuck Tingle?
Yes, we should.
Right, I thought so too.
Good old Chuck Tingle.
My computer is queefing.
My computer is
French toast.
No, you're right, Spielberg. I definitely farted all over this chair. It is disgusting, and I need a tarp now.
Really?
No. What the fuck? Did you just really?
Adam Wofford, thank you very much. We read Valiant Renegade and Adam Wofford's, but Valiant Renegade, I just want to read yours again. Mary, pancakes are maple flavored glue that sticks to the roof of your mouth. Valiant Renegade sounds like a flavored BJ. What are you complaining about? Just because it was funny. Matt G, thank you very much for your super chat sticker. JHand04 says, Life is Strange is better than The Last of Us Part 2.
I mean, everything's better than Last of Us Part 2. Everything is better than Last of Us Part 2. Although,
Mary?
To be fair, I haven't played the actual game. And so I can only speak from review experience. I didn't actually play the game itself. I try not to pay for things I shit all over.
It's funny. I paid to go see Captain Marvel, but made infinitely more. So thank you, Brie Larson. Thank you.
Did I ever tell you how I got to see what I did to see Captain Marvel? Allegedly.
It's one of those stories. Would you like to hear what I did to see the Avengers? Anyway, go ahead, Mary.
I allegedly bought a ticket for Dragons 3 and snuck in. So that was fun. That was a ton of fun. I think I was sitting in somebody's seat because he sat right next to me in a nearly empty theater and just kept looking at me like I had done something wrong. I could just be paranoid. But I feel like I sat in his seat.
Is it true you don't buy toilet paper? You don't pay for it? You don't?
No, why would I pay for toilet paper?
I just was trying to get clarification from I wanted clarification from the chat, Mary. These things are important.
Where did that even come from? It's true. I don't buy toilet paper. It's a waste of money.
Lacking Levels, thank you very much. I actually like the first Life is Not Great game, but if you don't know what you're getting into, it's not that bad. I don't know what I'm getting into, Lacking Levels. But hey, you know what? Different strokes for different folks. I will check it out for the lulz. People still say that on the internet, right?
Oh, by the way, in the first game, there's there's this Christian girl in there, and the bully girls kind of go in, and I think she got drunk or something like that, and they kind of recorded her doing some stuff at a party, and they kind of spread it around. Now everyone thinks she's like a porn star, and she's kind of her whole reputation is just deteriorated. And your job is console her or make her feel better or whatever. But there's one point in the first game that if she calls you, and if you ignore her call, she kills herself. No matter what else you do, as far as I've seen.
What?
Yeah, she'll just if you ignore her call, she's like, "Oh, you weren't there for me," and she jumps off the roof of a building.
This is in a game?
It was in the first game.
What the fuck? I'm gonna do that on Twitch now. I'm just gonna start jumping off rooftops in game and killing myself.
I think someone in chat told me what would happen if I ignored the call. I was like, okay, well, I'm ignoring this call. She's out of this game. You're out of here.
What? Chat is killing me right now.
Oh, good. Thanks, folks. You did it, so I don't have to.
Oh, shit. I was trying to remember an owl. A screech owl in particular. I just didn't while you're going at it.
Wolf's Pain, thank you very much. Life is Strange needs a Bully Maguire. Are you going to cry? I'm going to put some dirt in your eye. I'll pay the rent when you fix this damn door. I would love Bully Maguire and everything. Folks, look up Bully Maguire. If you don't know what it is, you're missing out.
Is it the one where he fights Kylo Ren? That was pretty good.
Ooh, I have to check that one out. Infinite Wonder. The Warhammer news is important because Warhammer China has never been shown at all before this. Just mentioned. They're going all out with this one. That said, I'm still waiting for the Ogre Kingdoms. The Ogre Kingdoms, fat Mongolian cannibal cavemen. Their god is the creator from an asteroid, and the Chinese called down to kill them all. They can and will eat anything that's even their magic. Now, those were 2 super chats from Infinite Wonder. But Infinite Wonder, the first part is compelling because it talks about it's never been seen, just mentioned about what D&D for China is. The other day, I saw an article about how the new James Bond movie has passed all the Chinese censorship. Like, it was, the way the article was presented is that it was a good thing that it passed all the Chinese censorship. Like, thank God this movie now reaches those lofty standards. Like, ugh, I hate seeing this shit. Fuck everybody who writes articles like this. Seriously.
What does that mean, though? Like, what is it? Because they just outlawed feminized men or something like that. So what does that exactly that mean? Like, does they go in there? It's like, hey, James Bond has to be pretty masculine in this thing, and no, the woman can't take over for his job. Or what they actually do to it? I wonder what changes they had to get done. Is that why it was delayed this whole time? And then why they came out with a new trailer that was just, instead of making dick jokes about James Bond, it was him doing awesome things? Is that why that happened?
People laugh. That could be a reason for some Chinese bullshit, but in reality, I think this is a response to having a movie that's going to fail if you go that woke route, and you bet your farm on this movie, so you can't really take chances. So I think a lot of it is just reshoots to save a terrible fucking decision. Like, we always talk about how dumb Ghostbusters 2016 was. Well, remember, folks, this is the James Bond movie created in that climate. This is the James Bond movie, the only James Bond movie created during that climate, because it was 2015. That's how long these movies fucking take these days, excuse me. But it was 2015 when the last one came out, and everything's different. Thankfully, since 2016, when Ghostbusters, everything else is different as well. But when you have a movie that's so far in the pipeline in its creative life cycle, during that climate, during that environment, you're going to eventually see that you were so out of line with what actually was, because those ideals were stupid in the first place. And so that's what I think it is. Now, Literature Devil, in reality, it probably is the China thing more so than that. I mean, what don't these companies do for money?
Right. Well,
that doesn't matter. That's an extra luxury.
I'm sorry, that was great. Why wasn't I ready for that? Shit, I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for that.
They never are, Mary.
Oh my God, Jeff. No.
Yeah. Now, Edmund Dotto, thank you very much for your your super chat. Excuse me. Why did I say general super chat? Thank you, folks, for your general words in this direction. He says, I have zero confidence in Hollywood that they won't ruin the Matrix with woke BS like everything else. I'm debating if I'll even watch this in my spare time to spare myself the pain.
Look who's making it. Look, don't get me wrong. I don't begrudge the Wachowskis to do whatever the hell they want, but they don't exactly have a great track record. One, they're super fucking woke, too. And we don't need this movie, right? So there's nothing to point to for this that suggests that it will be anything other than woke propaganda that retroactively destroys something well loved.
Has anyone ever played the game Shadow of the Colossus?
Yes.
That's what it feels like to me right now. Like all these franchises have been long dormant. They're asleep. The earth has grown over them. We love these monsters and whatever, these gigantic, gargantuan, titanic franchises, and they're asleep for a long time. And there's this one little woke hero going around waking them all up just to kill them. And that's what it feels like. Oh, hey, wake up, Star Wars. Wake up. Oh, what's going on? Pow, right in the head. And then Star Trek. Hey, wake up, Star Trek. I know it's been a long time since Enterprise. Wake up. What is it? What's going on? Pow, right in the head. Same thing with all kinds of shows that they come up with. Now, here comes Matrix. When was the last Matrix movie? When did that happen?
03, right?
03, like getting close to 20 years ago. Wake up, Matrix. Wake up. That's what it feels like right now. I feel like the Shadow Colossus. There's one plucky little hero going around trying to kill them all off.
So we're going to read a few more, and then we're going to jump into this one because, folks, this is a doozy. Dixon Cider says, did Dion love his gift, Jeff? Well, Dion was not able to make it, Dixon Cider. He called me on Friday and said he had car trouble, and he didn't plan early enough to get it fixed, so he wasn't able to make it down for the show. So hopefully around Christmas time. TLJ Screwjob says, don't forget the casualness of the mind trick. I mean, how they treated it? Because it used to be a big deal, the Jedi mind trick. Now...
Or how Rey's like, you know what? I need to get out of here. I'm just going to...
She just picked it up. Like, no one taught her that. I forgot that fucking happened in the movie. Sorry, I'm just really mad all of a sudden. Infinite Wander, thank you very much. Fair warning. I already read that one. Thank you very much, Infinite Wander. Track Media Only says... Mary Mayhem, there is something that you like. If we put that in spandex and a ring, then will you like wrestling?
Wrestling is already in. If there's something that I like.
If we put it in spandex and in a ring,
you would ruin it
like
for me. I feel like you would ruin it for me. I feel like it would ruin it for me. Spandex and in a ring. I feel like that would ruin anything I loved. Which you're welcome to try to do. But I think that if we're going to use these tactics, we should be using them against the enemy. I'm just saying.
Okay. And then TLJ Screwjob for now says, don't worry, Jeff. Mary lost points by thinking Fezzes aren't cool. Fezzes are cool, Mary. And yes, 11 is my favorite doctor.
Fezzes are the stupidest fucking hat on the planet. Just saying. They don't even cover your head. The point of a hat is to cover your head. They don't even cover your head. Just saying.
Infinite Wanderer, we did not miss your second super chat. We read those both. We were talking about all that. But in terms of the Ogre Kingdoms, it sounds cool. Do you know much about Warhammer 40K, Literature Devil?
Not too much. I've been learning a little bit here, a little bit there.
It's fucking cool from what the audience has shared with us. Dion is the guy that really was receptive to a lot of the recommendations. I've just been busy with shit, but he's the guy. I think there's a Warhammer game on Xbox Game Pass to play. There's also a Lord of the Rings one, but I digress. My point is, I'm open to it all. It's, I guess I start with Astartes, right? So, I don't know, that's Astartes. Okay, there you go. That's what I started with too, and liked it. I don't know. I know I need to look for new properties, but I'm at the point where it's like I'm making stuff, so. You do that too, Literature Devil.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit, folks. I saw something interesting I wanted to bring up. But no more honey dicking. Let's talk about Star Wars The Last Jedi, because...
Did you see the Warhammer 40K for kids that they're trying to make?
Oh, that... No, I haven't.
Yeah, they had something coming out called Warhammer 40K, but for kids. How do you do that? And second of all, why would you do that? Does it make any sense at all? But anyway.
I don't know. There's, what is it, Necron? Attack of the Necron. That does not look fun. Because when you type it, okay, War of the Orcs, you know, for an adventure game, this stuff doesn't look very exciting. Oh, well. I'll show you the image real quick. Well, no. Oh, yeah, here we go. Do you think, Mary, that this instills excitement? If you look at traditional stuff, it looks a little more exciting. But here, this just looks generic. Like, hey, look at these three kids.
You know what it kind of reminds me of is that old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Oh yeah, I remember that one with the Dungeon Master and those kids from like the modern times.
It was awful. It was an awful cartoon. It was my first interaction with Dungeons and Dragons, and it made me think it was really stupid. As a kid, I didn't really understand it, so it kind of. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it looks very generic. But so did the cartoon. The cartoon was very generic as well.
So let's get to the Star Warsing because, But 5 reasons why I think Star Wars fans will one day love the Star Wars sequels, especially The Last Jedi, by Rich Knight of Cinema Blend. just going to leave that there for a second. And I'm going to ask you, Mary, have you now or will you ever appreciate The Last Jedi?
No, I will forever until the end of my days. And hopefully I will bestow upon my children a similar ability to discern goodness from badness. I will hate The Last Jedi until my corpse is rotting in the ground.
We'll weave it into our tradition. Weave into the culture. It's like we're gonna sing songs about how awful this thing was. Kind of like how I don't know that they treat Voldemort like he should not be named. Oh, he's so demonized. Now the dwarves sing about their lost, forgotten gold in The Hobbit. It's gonna make that.
Yeah, but this shit ruined us. Like literally ruined long held family traditions for me. Right? This fucking shit. You know, the last time I went to see a Star Wars movie in theaters with my brother, I used to go to every time that Star Wars was in the theaters, right? When the prequels came out, and then they would show it sometimes occasionally in the theaters, I would go with my brother, and we would always go together. Sometimes we'd go in cosplay. We'd take our lightsabers. We'd have like lightsaber fights in the parking lot. We'd wait in line overnight. It was really great. It was just this really wonderful, long-standing tradition that I had with my brother. We always went together. That ended with The Last Jedi. We would go multiple times together. I went home. This was before I got divorced. This is when The Last Jedi came out. My ex-husband was deployed at the time, and The Last Jedi is coming out in theaters. I'm so excited for this. My brother had flown down for The Force Awakens to New York. Okay, this was how big of a deal this was. He flew down for The Force Awakens. He stayed with my in-laws for the holidays, and we went to see The Force Awakens together. When the Last Jedi comes out, I had a choice. My ex-husband at the time is deployed, and I need to go spend time with my in-laws. And so instead of going home for Christmas, I went home for Star Wars. I flew to my in-laws for Christmas, and I went home for Star Wars. I flew home. I want to try to get that across to people. Not for Christmas, for Star Wars, so that the long-standing tradition of going to see these movies with my brother, I wasn't even speaking to my sister at the time, go home for this shit. It killed the tradition. The tradition is dead. I didn't even see. I was in the same town as my brother when Rise of Skywalker came out. Just happened to be in the same town. We didn't go together.
Thank you, Star Wars.
Thanks for that.
Look what you've done. LiteratureDevil, same to you. Same question to you. Thoughts on this movie?
I have hours and hours of thoughts on this movie. It's such an awful movie. It's so terrible. It's the epitome of all the pretentiousness of Hollywood, all wrapped up in one horrible package. One ugly, hideous, terrible package. Although the only good thing that came from TLJ in Star Wars movies is that they are the premier examples of how not to do things. So every time I try to exemplify or give an example of some terrible craftsmanship in writing, I always drift back to the Last Jedi, because the Last Jedi did it. Like, anything terrible I ever come up with, like, hey, when this happens, don't do this. Oh, like the Last Jedi with Rey or something like that. Oh, and then, or don't do this part, like what they did with Luke Skywalker in the Last Jedi, or something like that, or how the story failed to flow in any particular way. Like how the Last Jedi failed to flow in any particular way. So it's everything. It's just really hard to pull away from Last Jedi at the same time, because I'm talking about writing and the structure and the formula and the philosophy. And when you talk about the bad stuff and how not to do things, I always drift back to the Last Jedi, because it did everything wrong. I mean, not just in terms of the movie. Like almost seems like every conceivable thing that you could do wrong when you write a story and characters, the Last Jedi did it. And I heard that some class is actually teaching the Last Jedi as a class, as a cautionary tale on how not to do things.
About damn time.
And they're right to do that. They're right, because it does everything you want to avoid in writing. The Last Jedi did. So it's all both awful, because this movie killed Star Wars, but interesting because it remains as this tool, this go-to example of how not to do things. At the same time. So it's also interesting in that perspective.
Now, the folks out there listening know exactly how I feel about this film. You all do. We've spent years and years talking about it. Thankfully, The Last Jedi did give you a little... There's a silver lining to The Last Jedi, folks, us. So the movie sucks, but let's read 5 reasons why we're all going to love it in the future. So, number one.
The only reason, if I could guess, is why we still love it, why we're going to love it in the future, is because this is a movie that's basically Helen of Troy, the movie. Like Star Wars is Helen of Troy, and this is like Paris, because this is the movie that launched 1,000 ships. It launched like so many careers because of how bad it was.
Oh God, yeah.
It was that terrible that it just launched a bunch of careers into the stratosphere.
Yep.
Now,
for better or worse.
They say this is their first reason why The Last Jedi, and one day that Star Wars fans will love the sequels. It provides a conclusive ending to the Skywalker saga. Excuse me. Remember when I said that I didn't view any of the Star Wars films as being better than another? Well, that means this is a stupid article, but well, that's true, but it doesn't mean that I don't dislike some Star Wars films more than others. All right, I needed to start from the beginning because this is the type of writing that is so biased, stupid, and flat out retarded that you're gonna trip over yourself and enter a mental gymnastics competition to try to convince yourself that these movies are good because the people that make them are fucking politically aligned with you and your stupid shit. You know what? If you agree with the politics of a celebrity, great, but don't lie to me. Don't lie to us and tell us their art is good, their film, their project, their mark, whatever the fuck they create is good because you like their politics. They're all fucking idiots, and this is a trash movie. But I guess I'll just read the article as is. I just wanted to take that time to let everyone know my thoughts on this guy because what a stupid fucking comment. I don't think any Star Wars movie is better than another. Fuck you. Attack of the Clones is not as good as The Empire Strikes Back. Don't try this shit with me.
That person has seen Star Wars movies and has any sort of taste at all or any concept of what a good story is. That's a lie. There's no way you're just neutral to all of the Star Wars movies. That can't be the case.
Yeah. I sat and watched I was watching 4K 77 today because I'm testing it out for some specific reasons. And I'm like, the lengths that people go to preserve the original Star Wars film within reason. And when I say within reason is nobody out there that's doing these fan projects is making the original cut of Star Wars because you don't have access to it. Long story short, most people that love the original Star Wars, you like the video edit that you saw as a kid, and that's not the original cut. My point is, people are passionate about that movie. They will die for it. They will do this shit. They will get into these online fights because they love Star Wars. No one's going to do this shit in the future for The Last Jedi. Stores don't want the merchandise. People don't want the merchandise. They don't want the characters. They don't want the movies. They don't want the books. They don't want the fucking discs. They don't want anything from this. This movie, the reason Mary's computer's queefing right now is because this movie is that bad. So,
you know what? I just moved on from that.
Not even the computer likes this, okay? Like, The Last Jedi again?
There's definitely some gas involved here for the computer. It's not ending well for her.
This person also says there are some iconic scenes in each of these movies. I know a lot of fans say they hate the sequels, but come on now. There are some scenes that are really cool in each movie. Who didn't love Episode 7's traitor scene with that badass stormtrooper? Do you guys remember that off the top of your head?
What?
Is that Finn?
Episode 7's traitor scene.
The Finn thing or the one with the cattle prod? The cattle prod trooper?
It's the cattle prod trooper.
That trooper's actually
Force
pretty hardcore.
Awakens?
Yeah, just the literally the scene where the stormtrooper spins that electronic rod. That's it.
I wanted the guy to win. I wanted the guy to kill Finn and then go off and kill Rey, and then he becomes the main guy.
Yeah, I remember what you're talking about. Yeah, okay, I remember what you're talking about now. I had to search the recesses of my brain. I think I've tried to block it out, honestly.
It's not iconic. Mary, do me a favor. Look whatever direction is west right now, okay? Now reach your arm out. Now reach your arm out to me. Okay, now I'm touching your hand. You are doing less stretching than the motherfucker writing this article right now. Come on. The iconic traitor scene? It's not iconic, you dumb. Never mind. Luke Skywalker's amazing final stand in Episode 8. What's iconic about Luke Skywalker dying on a rock?
I really just did that shit, Jeff. I just fucking did that shit. I thought we were going to test something. I was like on board. I was with you.
You mean the point where Luke Skywalker just dies of tiredness?
It's just like, this is a nice rock right here. I think I'll die on it.
Because they force too much. I guess is a thing now.
Have you ever forced yourself to death? You know,
It's using the force like taking a poop. Like you can just actually blow your
actually dying on the shitter.
Like Elvis
died.
did.
Yes,
like Elvis.
It was right there with you. It was like he died on the shitter.
Is that what this is? You force too much, you pop a blood vessel.
Oh my god! I just had an awful envisionment of Luke out there in a Christmas Vacation. Shitter's full. It's just emptying it.
Now, hold on. There's another scene too. Episode 9's iconic badass scene where Rey takes down Kylo Ren's ship. Again, iconic, right, Mary?
What? Wait. Where Rey takes down Kylo Ren's ship in The Last Jedi?
No, The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, in The Rise of... I don't even fucking remember what happened in that movie, people.
It's the scene from the trailer where she does that ridiculous front flip thing. That's not iconic.
It was iconically stupid. It was
I'm still trying to get over the whiplash from watching that movie. It went so fast. Like I'm still seeing a physical therapist from the crap that
I remember that scene because everyone just hated that scene so much because it was so stupid. Like, why would you do that? Why would you flip over the thing? Why would he just charge at her just so she can flip over? Like it was so dumb. Like why would Kylo Ren do that?
What would the point?
Why don't
he actually made a recut of it where he shoots her like he should have done?
Yeah, folks, fucking shooter.
We're gonna look at this right now. The Matrix worst contribution to society ever.
What?
This type of cinematography all is the product of the Matrix. And I love the Matrix, but it also gives us dumb shit like this. So Star Wars, stop trying to copy everything.
At least in the Matrix, they had the decency to shoot the guns at you, right? Like, that's sort of the whole point. Kylo Ren didn't have any idea how to make this work.
Kylo Ren should have shot his guns and killed Rey. He could have done it. What was he trying to do? Like, what was the end game of just flying straight at her with the ship?
I don't know.
Like, what's he going to do? Just he wanted to destroy the ship. He was going to try to run her over because again, he could have just shot her if the point was to kill her. Why, other than for the trailer reasons, would he do this? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Now, the fact is, while all of the movies might have left much to be desired, there are still some super iconic scenes in each movie. And when people look back upon this trilogy, I think a lot of those negative memories will get wiped away when they remember Finn fighting Kylo Ren in the forest, or that awesome moment when Kylo Ren fought side by side Rey against the Praetorian Guards. Those scenes were epic. No, the fuck they weren't, Rich.
It was an epic fail. Everyone just loved tearing that scene apart because it was so dumb.
You know what this does here? There's an assumption here. There's an assumption of people en masse that we are too stupid to care about the nonsense that brought us those scenes. Well, you won't care because remember flashy lights. It's as though they think we're infants. We're children who are completely content with it. It's like they think of us as if you think like a child would go through life being completely obsessed with keys because someone jangled them in front of them when they were a child. That's not how this works. This isn't riveting, right? I feel like I'd rather have a seizure than watch these freaking scenes again. I'm fine. The assumption here that people are so stupid, so infantile, so ridiculous that they would latch onto these scenes and that they would somehow worm their way into the social iconography simply because they had flashy lights or something that one could label as cool with zero context is absurd. And it tells me that the person that is writing this article is stupid because this is what they think. This is how they think people function. They think we will identify with this kind of approach to media. They think that this will resonate with people. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Wow, you're a moron.
Well, I'm glad you had that passionate introduction for the next segment. For a certain generation, this is their Star Wars. I know this might be hard for some fans to hear, but to this generation, this is their Star Wars. Now, before anyone says anything else, Rich, this version of Star Wars is our version of Star Wars retold. It's the same fucking movies retold with different people, but guess what? The old characters are still there because this generation Star Wars can't fucking exist without the old Star Wars because we never built anything. Excuse me, Disney, you never built anything. You tore down the EU and all that wonderful shit that was there beforehand. So let's not talk about the generations, but let's move on because I want to keep reading this, okay? This is their Star Wars. When I'm not writing, I teach a bunch of my students who grew up with the prequels. Will they tell me what they think of the original trilogy if it's boring? And yes, you just heard that right. My students find your favorite movie, The Empire Strikes, to be a boring slog. Rich, if you are a teacher and your writing is a reflection of your intelligence, I don't give a fuck what the kids you teach because they're kids and you're their teacher. So they're stupid. Yeah, they're taught by an idiot.
Didn't Plinkett like make fun of this? Like I remember Plinkett making fun. I was like, "What? Are you talking to a kid whose favorite movie is the Sith, this Return of the Revenge of the Sith because it has lava in it? Maybe they're not really the best people to ask about.
Why is this the measuring stick?
Like, because the Empire Strikes Back is really, really good. Like it's really
great.
Good. It's probably one of the best movies in Star Wars.
Like objectively speaking, like that's not even a question. Like I've met a lot of people who prefer Return of the Jedi, right? Because their fuzzy feelings get involved, and I'm not dismissing that because I'm not saying that feelings have no place when it comes to what your preference is. But most objective people can take a step back and recognize that just because you prefer Return of the Jedi doesn't mean that it is objectively better than Empire Strikes Back, right? Because it's simply a damn fucking good movie. It's just great on all counts, right? And so people have lost this ability to objectively analyze and criticize things. They've allowed their feelings to take precedence and become paramount to everything else around them. They're incapable of stepping back and going, okay, so I like this thing. And I recognize that liking this thing doesn't make it great. It may make it great to me, but it doesn't make it objectively great, right? And so people have lost that ability to divorce themselves from the equation. And I don't understand how that happened. I really don't understand how that happened.
Well, one thing that the Empire Strikes Back does not have that the new movies do is all the flashy blasts and flashing lights and stuff like that. Because the Empire Strikes Back, a lot of it is about, it has a cool opening battle scene, but then we go into the idea of following Luke Skywalker, where he hunts down Yoda, he goes into his mentor, he learns about the Force, he does his training. There's no real conflict again until they go to the Cloud City, and they get captured by the Empire. They meet Lando Calrissian, they get captured by the Empire, they get tortured, and then the whole conflict comes in. But it's not as much like flashy, flying around and shoot him up sort of stuff, space battles and stuff like that. It's not as heavy and prevalent in Empire Strikes Back as you would get in, say, the sequel trilogy. But every single instance of the sequel trilogy, it's all about flashy battles and lightsabers and flipping around and zaps and it's basically a lot of flashing lights to try to distract you about how bad the story is. The Empire Strikes Back didn't have to do that. But maybe that might be an instance where it's boring. What's all this story crap? Give me some more flashing lights and gun blasts. Because that's what the sequel trilogy had immense amounts of. But no, The Empire Strikes Back is really good. It's really good with the storytelling. It goes into the deep philosophy of the Force while showing Luke Skywalker going through his moment of trials and tribulations. And it's road of trials, essentially. Him growing and learning in the terms of the Force and amplifying his Force powers through wisdom and learning how it actually functions. It's not about strength. It's about belief and wisdom and centering one's mind and body, and then learning the philosophy of the Jedi. And then we get all kinds of important stuff. The final conflict with the conflict between Luke Skywalker wanting to become a Jedi and wanting to go save his friends, which Yoda says, "Hey, stay here, finish your training," which Luke Skywalker denies. He goes off and tries to rescue his friends, and he fights Darth Vader in an actual iconic scene. Luke, no, I am your father. That sort of thing. Jesus.
Yep. Oh, people mess that up all the time too. Like, does that not bug anybody else? Like, I get it in the public conscience or whatever consciousness is like, Luke, I am your father. No, it's no, I am your father.
You killed my father. No, you
killed my uncle.
I am your father.
How did that happen? We are living in the Matrix.
I think it's because outside of it, in context, we know he's talking to Luke, but outside of it, like, why are you saying no, I'm your father? Doesn't make any sense. And so people started saying, Luke, I am your father. So that, even outside of the movie, you can just drop that line and say, oh, okay, it's Star Wars thing.
Yeah. I mean, it's the greatest movie twist of all time. Everybody knows it. Everybody can think of it. And then let me read the final point to this really terrible article so we can move on and never think about it again. Star Wars fans hated the prequels when those were out, and now fans love them.
No, they didn't hate the prequels when they were out. They loved the prequels when they were out.
Yeah.
I was a kid when I watched them. I loved the prequels when they were out. I heard nothing but praise for the prequels until Plinkett came around. And then he said, oh, look at all this terrible stuff. Oh, that makes sense.
Well, if we go back in time to the year 2000, Kevin Smith is actually the first person to do making fun of the Star Wars prequels in the Clerks cartoon. And that, was on ABC. And George Lucas gets put on trial. Of all the things, Jay stops at the Quick Stop, tries to sue Dante for $10 million in this frivolous lawsuit. Judge Reinhold is the judge. Eventually, when Randall, who is Dante's defense, starts his line of questioning to people, he calls George Lucas to the stand to make fun of him. He makes fun of Joel Schumacher for Batman and Robin, makes fun of Spike Lee for some reason. But
also like Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin is an awesome movie. Look at the dinosaurs. What could have done? The Ice Age, just kick some ice. It's good stuff. Like Arnold makes that movie.
There are moments of depth in Batman Forever, but not in Batman and Robin. Holy shit.
I didn't say moments of death. I didn't say moments of depth. I said it was awesome. It was great.
Can you just do that again? Like, you just do that again for me? That was great.
What could have dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Let's kick some ice.
Envisioned Arnold with his giant tongue waving around.
Wow.
Now it's good stuff. It's excellent. I love it.
So let me read this point so we can close this out and never make fun of this writer again. This one just boggles my mind, but apparently many Star Wars fans now like the prequels, and I'm just going to stop you right there because I was there, man. Star Wars fans used to hate the prequels. They always made fun of Jar Jar Binks, still do, or mocked the awful dialogue, still do. But now Star Wars fans love the prequels. No,
not really. They acknowledge them as. I mean, now from what I've seen, a lot of fans still acknowledge them as like bad movies, but they appreciate them in some respect because the prequels had a lot of good stuff in them. It just wasn't executed relatively well.
Well,
the sequels had nothing. The prequels had stuff. I'm talking about the prequels had good stuff in them. It wasn't executed pretty well. It was executed fairly poorly. The sequels have nothing. They're just empty husks of what looked like a story, not even a story. This empty husks that someone just slapped the Star Wars label on. The prequels, however, they were born from some sort of passion. They were born from something. They had some good character development there. They had some good world building, excellent world building, and some world building ideas. They had some excellent stuff in there. It just wasn't put together particularly well. The sequels have nothing at all. It's a hollow husk. It's like if you try to bite into a chocolate expecting some sort of delicious feeling. There's nothing in there, and the chocolate is just poop. Yeah.
The sequels, when I think about all of when you say it's a hollow husk or whatever, it is literally just some shiny, flashy lights with nothing of substance inside. I think with a lot of remorse about what it is that the originals and the prequels deserved. They deserved those flashy effects, right? Because the story could hold them up, and it would have been the icing on the very, very delicious cake, right? Like, and then I think of the fact that the sequels were the ones that got these flashy, amazing effects and these beautiful visuals, right? Because I'm not an idiot. I will never deny that there are some really great visuals. The visual of the ship going through the other ship in The Last Jedi, right, where it cuts the wing off and everything gets light and there's the dark background, that looks beautiful, right? That's a beautiful visual. Empire Strikes Back deserves a visual. Not that the visuals weren't impressive at their time, but in terms of like viewing it today, right? Why are kids bored with, say, Empire Strikes Back? Well, because they don't understand the difference between substance and jangling keys. It makes me sad because the originals and the prequels, I would argue, are worthy of these beautiful, amazing effects that got wasted on this garbage that no one will remember. So much money spent on this garbage that no one will care about. Damn it.
So I'm the guy that didn't like episode 1 as a 10-year-old kid. And I always tell that because people love to use the excuse, well, you didn't like it, you were too old for it. No, I was the prime age. Didn't like it. Only thing I took away from that movie was the game. It was awesome. Then
all my friends liking it and everything too. So I don't remember that much hate for it at the beginning.
And then we get to episode 2. I don't like episode 2. Up until the new one, I would consider that the worst Star Wars movie. And then you get to 3. 3 was awesome from the get-go. The hype was off the chart. The movie delivered. People were happy with it, not because it was better than the last one. It was the great conclusion to Star Wars. I guess Mr. Writer Man keeps forgetting that everything has to come to an end. Star Wars came to an end, a natural conclusion, 16 years ago at this point, right? That's how time works. And so it came to a conclusion a long time ago, and we were all happy with it, and we've lived with Star Wars. See, the difference with the sequel trilogy and the prequel trilogy is the one part the writer forgets. Oh, it's not about kids, it's not about generations. Lucasfilm themselves spent many, many years with the Clone Wars building the prequel era universe, making the Star Wars prequels fleshed out. The reason why a lot of people have maybe changed or softened is because there's been more added constantly. If you watch those movies in a vacuum like we did back in the day, they're not that great. They don't make all that much sense at times. Sifo Dyas, this, that. What does that mean? What is this? The Clone Wars. In 2008, they fucking explained all that shit and made what, in my eyes, is the greatest Star Wars TV show of all time, The Clone Wars. That thing was fantastic. Right up until, I guess it came back and I didn't like it as much. But long story short, that is why I think the Star Wars prequels have a much better, people remember them better because they have great ideas that didn't have great execution, but in another media format, the TV show, they execute it well, build a world, and actually integrate it into the Star Wars landscape. And before Disney purchased Star Wars, George Lucas and Lucasfilm found a way to make it all fit, and it all worked. We were all on this high. It wasn't until 2015 when they changed it, and that's all she wrote, folks. You guys know the story, and I don't need to repeat it. So I'm going to go with no on the question I'm about to ask, but will people remember The Last Jedi positively in the future? Mary?
I would be surprised if they remember it at all. If it even comes to mind. Remember it positively. That would require people have something worth remembering.
Literature Devil.
I would say that, the reason why people like movies, like this prequel trilogy and even the original trilogy is because there's something there to love. Even in the prequel trilogy, you can like the characters, you can like the world that it lived in, that it created. But the sequel trilogy doesn't really have anything, and TLJ kind of dismisses and insults the legacy and the characters, and kills off a bunch of characters, kills off Luke Skywalker, and it obliterates a lot of that legacy, and it ruins the entire thing. It kills Star Wars. But even more than that, there's nothing there to really grasp onto. It's just Rian Johnson's incredibly this outrageous ego. That's kind of what this whole thing is. It's just powered by his ego, and this doesn't really seem like this. I mean, they try to put stuff in there, they try to shove in meaning and message and everything, but it doesn't hold together. It's just like a bunch of parts thrown into a box, and nothing is sticking together, and it's nothing there to hold on to. People just hate it. And so will people like it in the future? Some people might. I don't know. But I think that we look back on this and say, it's not all that great. It's not all that great of a movie.
I mean, people believe the earth is flat and dumb shit like that. So anything's possible. It's not like Lex Luthor himself went to outer space a few weeks ago. Like,
oh Lord,
Jeff Bezos. But anything's possible, especially like I actually watched a really interesting video, and I wanted to bring something up during our Matrix section. It was about living in a simulation, not about I think we live in a simulation, but just the simulation hypothesis. And I think so much of these theories and stuff come, the Matrix helps solidify a lot of those things. But if we do live in a simulation, the world's worst program is being run over on Star Wars because you can't win. You can't fucking win with that brand. Now,
dude, I was so sad we didn't get to talk about that. I have read shit on this. I think we live in a simulation, y'all. I'm convinced.
Oh, really?
I don't want to say I'm convinced. I entertain the idea enthusiastically. I think that, well, have you not seen some of the shit that validates those notions? Like, there's so much stuff that lends itself to the credibility that, like, did you know that they made a virus that they made a virus a few years back? I think it was 2017 they made a virus that they could embed into physical strands of DNA that screams this is a simulation. They made a freaking computer code virus that can be inserted into strands of DNA.
I think we live in this. I don't know what to say about that one because you kind of threw me off. All I was going to say is, though, I watched another video that says we live in a dystopia, and I'm like, that we do. We may not live in a simulation, but God damn it, we live in a dystopia, and it's very disappointing and very scary.
Dude, there's so much stuff. Like, I'm not saying what actual form that may take, and there are lots of variables and different ways that you can approach it, and some nuance to certain words that you may have to bat around a bit. But there's some crazy shit going on. There's like this really famous double slit experiment in physics that they have these patterns that they shoot through copper plating, and it turns out that when you're looking at them, they act, or when you're, I can't remember if it's when you're looking at them, the electrons behave like particles, but when you're not looking at them, they behave like waves. They literally change depending on whether or not they are being observed, right? Like, there's some crazy shit that happens in physics that should be consistent, right? But the mere act of observing it makes it change the way it behaves.
So
it's called the double slit experiment. You should look it up. It's really crazy, right? Yeah, look that shit up. It is crazy. It's the mere act of observing electrons that are being shot through a copper plate can determine whether or not they act in a particle behavior or a wave-like behavior.
Well, I know what I do when I get off here. No, actually, I do read. I'm not being sarcastic. I actually do read into this shit quite a bit. I said to Jesse, I wish I could get the YouTube, playlist that I've curated on our TV into a thing, because we watch very specific videos and it built a really like weird rabbit hole for ourselves. Like, that's what YouTube's supposed to do, instead of like, I don't know, make you get censored and all this shit. Just create content that it knows you want to watch based off basic formulas and math. And it all stems from this kind of, weird, out there, dark stories, science stuff, unknown possibilities. I'm really interested in the unknown right now. I think that actually it has a lot to do with the world we live in. The unknown is kind of the only thing we know right now. Nothing's guaranteed. Nothing is certain. You can have this happen. The world can fall apart. That can happen. And long story short, to just tie this up, I think we're living in a much different place than a lot of us realize. And I'm looking forward to see if the art is going to reflect that, the pop culture, or if it's going to push forward for an idealized future or a corporate, weird, like woke future that nobody actually believes in. I don't know. We'll find out.
Sorry, I know I made it super fucking weird there, but I was just like, there's so many interesting things that lend themselves to the notion that we do, in fact, live in a form of matrix. Like, there's no reason for there to be a speed limit, right? Like, the speed of light is a rule. It's a hard and fast rule that shouldn't exist without it simply being just the speed limit for transmitting information from one network to another, or within our network. There's just so much stuff. Like, it's really crazy. Mandela effect. Yes, Snort. The Mandela effect.
I've watched too many of those. Don't get me started. I watched.
It's a thing.
Mary, let's do a stream at like 3 a.m. my time once. Actually, no, that'd be 6 a.m. That's too early. Let's just do like a midnight stream for me, 3 a.m. for you, and let's talk about weird topics.
Okay, I love it.
You call it weird topics.
Into the unknown. I love it. Let's go.
So let us, anything else Star Wars related you guys want to cover? Oh, there is one thing I wanted to add to this point, to the screen, this writer from Cinema Blend. If these Star Wars prequels these Star Wars sequels are so great, how come we just did a marathon literally to introduce Star Wars to the next generation? It's on Cartoon Network. The commercial says, watch it with your kids. Parents. The commercial's talking to the parents.
What?
Yes, there is a new Star Wars commercial on Cartoon Network. They showed Star Wars episodes 1 through 6, and then they showed Rogue One. They talk about Star Wars for the next generation, to pass it on, to pass it on, to pass it on. The commercial says that 5 times. And guess what? Nothing from the sequels. Not a picture, not a hide nor hair. The only thing you get is Rogue One. And Rogue One works. It tells the story of how the Death Star plans and all this shit. And for kids, I guess it makes sense. I don't know. I was a kid. I watched Star Wars. It was a kid's movie in quotations, and it made sense that there'll be nothing to stop us this time, meaning there was a time before. But we live in the world where we have to see every minute, every heartbeat, every shit Darth Vader takes. Fine, it works. Long story short, though, no sequels. None of that shit. To me,
there'll be nothing to stop us this time. I'm sorry, I got hung up on that.
Dude, Darth Vader is the greatest villain. No, Darth Vader is the greatest villain in history. I often slip into Darth Vader isms. I usually say the ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force. That's my favorite one.
I want to watch the original trilogy now.
Do you have a copy of 4K 77?
I have. So I actually have the original theatrical release trilogy in 720p. You can see the smudges on Vader's helmet. It's great.
No, the 4K 77 is just a fan version of that in 4K.
Did he completely break up for you two, Lit, or am I crazy? Okay, you sounded like you straight up went robotic there for a second.
Am I back now?
Yeah.
Okay, all I was saying to you is the version I was asking if you had access to is just the 4K version of the theatrical cut. So it's just a 4K version of your 720p.
It's funny that Disney is like, yeah, pass it on to your kids. What, like it's the Bible or something. It's right? Like the book of Eli, and you're Eli going through the desert, the wasteland, and trying to pass on the book of Christ to the future generations. And no, that's not Star Wars. Also, you wouldn't have to do that. You wouldn't have to tell parents, hey, pass on Star Wars if it was good, if the new stuff was good. Because then, first of all, my parents showed me Star Wars. I hear a lot of people's parents showed them Star Wars or whatever, because they said, hey, this is an awesome movie. I want to show my kids this. I definitely want to show my kids this. And it's saying you get the same. If you talk to like Geek Dad or something like that, I know that Umbrella guy kind of says this with like horror movies and stuff like that. Like I want to show my kids this. I want to show my kids my favorite movies and stuff like that. It's so interesting because I love this movie. I think it's so good. They wouldn't have to put together commercials to say, hey, pass on this stuff to your kids.
We'd like to make money next generation.
Exactly.
It's like the difference between a grassroots movement and something that's been force-fed to you. It's uncomfortable, and I don't like it. It's uncomfortable. You can bet this. If you tell me to do something with my kids, I'm going to tell you to fuck off. My kids, my choice.
They want your kids. They want to infect your kids with stuff. So
those aren't your fucking kids. They're my fucking kids. Go fuck yourself.
You're right though, Terry, about not adult films, because that has a different connotation, but mainstream movies, not necessarily for kids that have toys, but not only PG, but Rambo had an R rating. They had multiple toy lines for kids. It was a Marvel-based cartoon for both of those those movies. We definitely used to have R-rated stuff for kids, but you're right. Your earlier point was excellent about, maybe it was not your point, but somebody made a point about Star Wars is thought of as a kids movie just because of the toy line. It is okay. It was Terry Reese's earlier point because but so did Aliens, Police Academy, and Rambo. Star Wars is a pretty violent movie series in general, and it deals with some heavy shit. It just it's the perfect package for everybody.
Thinks because of that sharp turn that he made for the prequels, that defines the entirety of Star Wars. Like, there's no question that George Lucas wanted to make the movies a bit more for kids when it came to the prequels, that he had that in mind. But that doesn't make them that was one of the great things about Disney movies when I was growing up, was that they had this really amazing ability to be both accessible to children and adults, right? They were the whole family, right? And I always felt like Star Wars was far more in line with for everyone as opposed to for kids. There's no denying that it's definitely accessible to children, but that doesn't mean it's childish. Childlike and something accessible to children does not make something childish. Those are two different things.
General audiences.
Yeah. General audiences. I don't need an F-bomb in there to be for me.
Exactly.
You sure about that?
You need a good story.
No, I fucking don't, Jeff. Fuck.
all kinds of good stuff.
That's what you need, Mary.
A good F-bomb.
So now let's take a moment to check in with the audience. We'll be right back, folks, and we'll continue on. We have another interesting topic to talk about in just a moment.
Did you see?
We already did Joe Rogan. What's a good one? Mary, pick a number.
Between what and what?
Between 1 and 17.
Between 1 and 17? 13.
But what's real is family.
Jesus.
Family.
You know what you should do is you should just like roll a percentile, Jeff.
I should what?
Roll a percentile. It's a D&D thing, but it would work great. Get you a set of D&D dice and just roll a percentile, and that's how you come up with your stuff. Have them ready every stream.
There we go. TLJ Screwjob says, no, Literature Devil was talking about Obi-Wan being awesome and skipped the mind trick and how he used tricking stormtroopers. Obi-Wan did do that.
Yes.
In the very first film.
Oh, yeah, he did.
It was a thing.
It was awesome.
Donkey Saurus Rex. I can't speak tonight. Sorry. Donkey Saurus Rex, you're awesome for that fucking comment. Where did that go about DMT? Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm derailing my own show laughing at the chat. There we go, folks. Thank you. Up next, we also have our friend TLJ Screwjob who says, Mary, have you ever had 141 and 2/3 chance of winning anything? Well, Scott Steiner did because he's a genetic freak and he's not normal.
What the fuck is going on right now?
That's Scott Steiner math.
Yeah. Our friend Darian217 says, dread it, run from it, and destiny arrives all the same. Mary, have you enjoyed all the wrestling super chats so far? I know I have.
Why? Fucking why?
Does it sound better with the new mic?
Yeah, you said great.
Even me.
You know what? Now we can do that, though, obviously. Why do you gotta just ruin everything, man?
Well, Buffalo Jeff likes to have a good time. Now, this one also comes from a listener who knows how to have a good time. Philabune, who says, Mary, a tarbouche, Fez, is not a hat. It's a headdress. Hate them all you want, but hate them from a place of knowledge, not ignorance.
What am I even supposed to do with that? No, I don't wanna.
You just got kind of burned. That was a good one. Thank you, Philabune.
It got me pretty good.
TLJ Screwjob, thank you very much. TLJ Screwjob says, yeah, the traitor scene was so iconic that you three have had to cover it more than this person ever will. Couldn't remember it if Cattle Prod or Kylo.
There was a Finn. Was it Kylo? Was it the Cattle Prod guy? Because that was funny because it was dumb. Also, it was kind of funny that he was like out of all the things in Star Wars, he could have had a gun, but he had a cattle prod instead. Like he went to battle with that cattle prod.
With a fucking cattle prod.
It was huge. It wasn't even like it was like a thing to keep on his belt and he can inflict out. It was an enormous thing that had like all kinds of bolts, and that was the thing he kind of consciously lug out into battle.
It's completely impractical.
Yeah, I could understand like the baton that just kind of flipped out of his belt or something like that as a secondary weapon. But that thing was like he was like a cattle prod unit for some reason.
Well, you know what gets me is I think that this kind of shit happens because someone told them that the rule of cool existed, and they took that to mean that anything some drunken guy who was getting Taco Bell at 3 a.m. on the weekend, anything that occurred to him must be fine to stick in here, regardless of whether or not you could validate it.
Hey, bro, what if he had what if you had Finn fight this stormtrooper?
What if you had him like fight a cattle prod, man?
Yeah, he had like a little zap gun. I got hit with one of those, man. Last time I got arrested.
Zappy cattle prod. I saw this video on the internet about this naked lady who was tearing up an Applebee's, and they totally tased her in the boot, man. Just give him a cattle prod. Just tase people. That's exactly how that went down. I know it is.
You were there. You saw it all. You reached up with your cold, dead hand and signed it in your own blood. Hello, Vinny. It's your Uncle Bingo. Time to pay the check. Now, Mary, if you can tell me what movie that's from, I'll never make fun of you again.
Repeat it?
Nope.
No, I didn't hear what you said.
I don't even remember exactly verbatim. I have to look it up now. It just kind of flowed out of me. I'm like, oh shit.
It just flowed out of you.
The chat's gonna know. The cat. Hold on. As soon as the chat tells you, there we go. I'm gonna guess in 3, 2, 1. There you go. Silver Nova knew it right away.
Silver Nova. Hold on. What is this? Silver Nova knew it. Batman 89. I still don't know what you said though. What was the reference?
The Joker, when he talks about Carl Grissom, reached up with his cold dead hand and signed his own blood.
Oh no, I couldn't have quoted it quite like that. Nope. I'm sorry.
Now, that's okay. The raising will continue. Thank you, TLJ Screwjob, though. 007 Cloud says, Soy Boy writer of Star Wars article ain't wrong about the fans. You just look at Marvel stands and how they consume not realizing what they blindly like is destroying what they liked in the past 10 years. Well, 007 Cloud, I think that's an interesting point that you bring up because consumerism is ugly. It can be good. It can be interesting. It can be pure. But what modern consumerism from a lot of these Disney properties is that there's no long-term plan with all of this. And what's happening is when you go see these new things that undo the old ones, with Marvel, we haven't had that happen with something new yet. This is Star Wars, Star Trek, He-Man, She-Ra, shit that's old. Yeah, I love Star Wars like it's brand new, but it's old. Let's think about it. It's almost 50 years at this point. Over 40, what was it, 44 years? Star Wars has been around for a long time. With Marvel, people are going to start waking up to this one and realize it. And it's going to be why are we, people remember, they're not going to be able to recast Iron Man or read these things. They'll just have these, I don't know, these questions. But 007 Cloud, and everyone, really just pay attention to your pop culture. The people that make it don't like it or respect you. Stephen Kraft, thank you very much. Good to hear from you again. He says, iconic scenes from The Last Jedi in a negative sense. Princess Leia flying through space like Mary Poppins. I will never forget.
God, oh my God. It was one of the most disrespectful things I've ever seen in my fucking life. The fact that they let that shit appear on screen after we lost our princess. You put that shit on the screen. I wanted to slap somebody. I thought, my God, when it was on the screen, I thought this was it, right? This is the moment. And we were going to say goodbye to her. I was waiting for some craft arm to lovingly reach out and gently bring her back inside, that we were going to have some huge funeral where we said goodbye. I thought that this was the moment. No, they put that shit on screen.
Of course not.
Fucking Superman that hoe.
She's a woman. She's just awesome. The Force is a female,
Fuck, man. That was just one of the most awful experiences, like in terms of movie going, that I've ever had in my life. I was crying. I was sitting there crying, thinking that I was leading into something. We were stepping into a moment. I was emotionally prepared for this. And then that shit happens. And
boom, she just flies through space and she's fine.
I wanted to fucking choke somebody. Fuck, God, that was awful. So awful.
Now, Stephen Kraft also says, I thought Darth Buffalo Jeff was Mary's father.
What? What?
They never told you about me, Mary.
No, I just hide out in his basement. So I'm literally streaming from his basement right now.
No, you're not. You're streaming from
figuratively. Hell's basement. I'm streaming from Hell's basement.
Better than the kitchen. Mary, imagine if Buffalo Jeff yelled at you like Gordon Ramsay.
I already feel like he kind of does. I'm an idiot sandwich.
If this chicken was any less cooked, it'd be fucking crossing the road. See, I can do it.
I just the other day realized what the joke, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side meant. The to get to the other side punchline finally occurred to me the other day. What that actually meant.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah, really.
I just fucking with you.
That's the first time I ever stopped and thought about it, Like I never thought about it before.
It was just always the shittiest joke as a kid. It's like every kid has that fucking joke they know. Most kids were, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Ha ha. Mine was lame. You want to hear what my kid joke was to everybody, Mary?
What was it?
What do you call a queen that plays golf?
What do you call it?
The queen of clubs. See? Terrible joke, but it made sense. When you're 5 years old and you're telling that joke, everyone thinks you're genius. When you're 5 years old telling the chicken cross the road, everyone thinks you're funny. When you're 40, 50,
I'm not
60
fucking 40. I was gonna slap you.
I would. Hey, there are lines I will happily cross constantly for the sake of entertainment. That I don't know if that's one of them, because you're always like, you always say to me, Jeff, we're close to the same age, and I go, okay, Mary. And then if I call you 40, that means I'm close to 40, and I'm not. So I'll be nice.
No, it just occurred to me the other day that was what it meant. I didn't mean to like halt the stream. I was oddly proud and mortified by that moment where it was like, oh, that's dark.
It's maple flavored sarcasm, Mary.
Maple flavored glue. Maple flavored tongue glue.
So Canadian seaman, got it. TLJ Screwjob says, LiteratureDevil, is it possible to not do all the hero's journey and still have a good story, as opposed to the sequels that don't even try it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, what was it? John Wick itself, like he doesn't really go through a hero's journey because he's already like a guy who's gone through it. So it's a story formula where you kind of follow the master around, and you get to see him kill things. You get this something similar in Lone Wolf and Cub. Like Ito Ogami is already like this master swordsman. But the journey is him going on a journey of revenge against the rival family of the Agyus. But he doesn't start off as a greenhorn and then goes and finds a mentor and fights through tribulations and then becomes his ultimate self. Yeah, he changes. And the most iconic story where he meets the living Buddha, and he has to attain this extra level of mentality. But he's already like this master swordsman. And the fun of that is you get to see this master swordsman go off and do these extraordinary things. And you see this master assassin in John Wick go off and do these extraordinary things that no one else in the world can probably do. And I don't know, it's kind of like, I see it because we talked about D&D before. It's kind of like seeing a level 20 character go off and do something. So yeah, you can definitely have a story that's just about like this awesome character going around who's earned his medal and is going up and testing that medal against impossible odds. Yeah, you can't. You don't need to do the hero's journey every time, but it is a really good thing to follow if you want to have like a story like Star Wars or The Matrix, for example.
Well, and there's a variety of ways to go about doing it as well. Like if you have any level of creativity in your head at all, it's not that difficult to turn the hero's journey into a riveting and just really enjoyable adventure.
I think the hero's journey is great. We instead of trying to deconstruct the hero's journey or not even try like Disney, I don't think you need to update it. I'm looking forward to something super classic, like really classic hero's journey to the point, like a Star Wars, something just where that's what the story is. Because it's the one that it seems repetitive, but it's the most interesting trope for me because we're all on a journey in our life. I'm looking for the next great aspirational character. You look at Luke Skywalker and some of these people, and where are they at these days?
That's what the hero's journey is. It's actually not called the hero's journey originally. It kind of became the hero's journey, but it's actually originally called the monomyth because the one myth of humanity. And the reason why that is because he found the patterns that he created that crosses cultures and time, and everyone kind of sees this thing. And it's kind of basically the hero's journey. The monomyth is just a story about human development and maturity. That's kind of what it is, including rites of passage, which is why even Joseph Campbell conjectures in the Hero 1,000 Faces. He conjectures this is why we have so many soy boys. He doesn't put it like that, obviously. It's why so many like weirdos in America. He's like he even points out in the United States specifically, like in the United States, he says there is kind of an opposite sort of scenario where we want to go away from growing up and go away from responsibility and cling to the mother and remain kids forever, remain young forever, and never attain and never really grow up. And that's why he goes into the idea of that's why we have all these guys, all these soy boys and things that we would call soy boys now. Like even if they become doctors and lawyers, even if they get married and have kids, they still go back to their childhood shrines because they never had that severe psychological ritual of severance that brought them into the era of adulthood. So yeah, we're all going through our journey because it's the one myth of humanity. But we like to see that people, and it makes a lot of sense, and it doesn't need to be updated. It makes a lot of sense to us because everyone from the beginning of every human from the beginning of time has gone through the same journey. It's forever. It's eternal. It doesn't need to be updated by Disney because it's already good. Now, it's not every single journey is the same, obviously. And you go into like the archetypes and everything. That's a whole other conversation. But the hero's journey can differ in a few places. It can differ here and there. Maybe the mentor comes in later. Maybe the mentor comes in sooner. Maybe there is no. Maybe he gets spiritual help. Maybe there is no spiritual help. It all depends on what the story is, but it all has similar elements to it, and that's where we go. That's where we arrive at. The hero's journey does not need updating. It just needs to be followed on some degree. It needs to be a story of development. It needs to be a story of maturity. You need to have a character start. If you want to do a proper hero's journey, the character needs to start off some ways mostly green, mostly like naive, and basically unknowledgeable about the world. And then they face the guardian. Basically go from the ordinary world into the extraordinary world. That's like how Frodo and Sam, they stopped at the end of the Shire in the movie, and they go, if you take one more step, Mr. Frodo.
It'll be the furthest I've ever gone.
Exactly. He takes one more step, and then that's them crossing into the extraordinary world.
And every step after that is the furthest they've ever gone.
Exactly. And every step after that as well is the road of trials. From then on, it's the road of trials. And up until the final conflict, I guess.
I'm gonna cry. Oh, Sam. I love Sam so much.
I need to go back and watch those again. I've only seen them once.
Dude. Extended cut. That's the only
I know. I just bought them on 4K.
Okay.
I got the box set, not the big deluxe one, but whatever the 4K one with the theatrical and the extended one is. We have that. So.
Yeah, man. Well, it's on HBO Max as well, I believe.
Oh. I've become a picture snob lately because we have like everything hardwired and a sound bar and shit. So if I can get it on disc, I've been trying to have that home theater experience since the world's dog shit right now. Like, it's weird. We watched Willy Wonka, and it's a great movie, one of my all-time favorites. But like, I don't know, watching it with the super picture quality and the sound and making popcorn and making an event out of it even makes an old movie just that much better. Like, I could watch Willy Wonka with McDonald's and an hour of sleep, and I'm having a good time. But I don't know, old movies, man, or all the old movies are just really hitting me right now. The classics. Maybe it's because it's a time of uncertainty and some of the familiarity just, is refreshing. But overall, I don't know why I went off on this tangent. Sorry. Either way, back to what we were saying. Classic movie,
you had
Lord of the Rings, all
that all kinds of stuff. Yeah, you had super chats and all kinds of stuff you were supposed to get to, and we just sidetracked really hard.
So, Adam Wofford, thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, that's light particles. It changes based on what we're used to look at them. The devices that use give off energy waves that change the light particles or light waves. I am not a science guy. That is Nick. But I don't really know what to say, Adam Wofford. I'm sure you're right. Because I'll look into the science, but why am I going to debate that? Why would I think you're going to, give me wrong science? So I'll just say thank you. Dix Insider says, do you find it ironic that Land O'Lakes got rid of the Indian but kept the land? I never thought of that.
Sure they did.
Now, I got 5 packs of that butter sitting in my fridge, and that never fucking clicked.
They were just wiping out all of the iconic symbols. But they got rid of the Indian, but they kept the land. We want the land. Okay, that's what we really want.
Also, Dix Insider says Mary hates me because she won't open her gift. Why won't you open Dix Insider's gifts, Mary? Look, if listeners are that generous and kind, we're the lucky ones. Open those gifts. Open your heart, Mary. She just so happened to step away at that very moment, Literature Devil. Convenient, right?
Very convenient.
I can hear the racing cars in the background. I don't miss that. So, while Mary is away, TLJ Screwjob says, and the worst part is that Carrie Fisher died in 2016. So they had a whole year to have Luke and Leia die, and they didn't. Yeah, that bothers me.
They knew and they did nothing about it. Nothing. Because Rian Johnson's vision was so much more important than the loss of our princess.
By
Also,
vision,
Mary,
he
why
means
won't you
ego.
open your Mary? Why won't you open your gift from Dixon Cider?
What?
Dixon Cider has sent you a gift to your PO box, and he says you won't open it.
No, it's not that. I haven't been able to get out to my parents. There's been a very bad ability to just get out there and make things work schedule wise. It requires getting into the PO box, which I don't just directly have access to. I have to get to my parents to be able to make that work. And so it's just been a clash of schedules. I'm sorry. I don't hate you, Dixon. What are you talking about? I love your face. You're great. No.
Don't lie to Dixon.
Are you me? What else would it be? Yes, I hate Dixon. I just hate his face that I've never seen.
That you've never seen. Thank you, Mary.
Like, what else would it be? What else would it be?
TLJ Screwjob also says, thanks to Donkeysaurus Rex for remembering the mouth set that would not CGI Leia, like Tarkin in Episode 9. And they did! Thought we wouldn't notice, but we did, and they lied. So, there was another interesting conversation I wanted to have. Well, interesting is subjective, and we have to have it first. But Literature Devil, you and I both create comics.
Oh, yes.
We are in the position of doing the thing that everybody says, where if you don't like it, make your own. All right, we did. Now, I read an article the other day talking about the comic book climate. And where was that? Where did that go? Right here. And it basically was talking about how comic books really don't have much of an inside or creator base anymore. It's just a bunch of people with tantrums that are not able to grow. They get online, they get in these online fights, and they really just don't create anything. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is, what inspired you to make your own comic?
Well, I've been writing for a long time. Like, it's been my life's obsession. I even got a degree in it. English writing, everything. I was trained in college with every single type of writing, from poetry to creative writing to business writing, like the whole thing. So it's been my life's obsession. And I've always wanted to do a comic book. So when Comics Day came around, and it seemed to be viable, that something in the capitalist in me was like, there's an opportunity here where I can use my creativity and get maybe some support for my creativity, in creative endeavors. And I was like, I already had the story of Dr. Alpha done. I was like, maybe wouldn't this be cool if I turn this into a comic book? And the opportunity arrived. And I had always wanted to make my own comic book. And I said, well, let's give it a shot. See what we can do. And it's been an interesting experience ever since, but a fun one, a very, very fun one.
Me, there wasn't a time when I didn't want to make comic books. Really, it starts from the 2002 Spider-Man film. But the reason I set it up like that is because in 2014, my life dream, goal, whatever, really changed with this whole Marvel Now initiative. And what I mean is, I thought to myself, why would I want to work in this industry with a bunch of people that hate me, that suck? And I'm glad that I wasn't wrong. And I don't mean I'm glad that, that industry's shitty. It's just I'm glad that I didn't misread the room, because that's what a lot of the industry's become. And I think, what do you think the ETA is on the actual cancellation of printing comic books, and these superheroes are only going to be in film, TV, and on merchandise and like other forms, but not the actual serialized comics?
I have no idea, but it might be soon. I'm not entirely sure, but there's a reason why DC's being juggled around like a hot potato between companies. They kind of just keep these around just so they keep the IPs fresh. Seems like that way. That's been predicted by EVS, I think, and a lot of people that keep tabs on comic books, and at least the American industry, is that it's been conjecture floating around that one day they'll just do away with the printing press. The printing version of these things, and then just keep the IPs for movies and TV shows, because the comic book sales in America are dismal compared to what they could or have been, especially when compared to like manga sales. We can have like one guy, like one series, kind of be comparative to the entirety of the American comic book industry, reasonably comparative. Tell me, some people say, they actually didn't outsell everything. You didn't include this or you didn't include that. But the thing is, they're missing the point there. one series, Chainsaw Man and One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, these things, like one series, can reasonably be compared to the sales of the entire comic book industry. Yet maybe they didn't outsell them. But thing is, you're kind of like, I don't know, you're like Wimplo and Kung Pao, like, haha, I'm bleeding, make me the victor. Like, one series is rivaling your entire industry. Like, yeah, maybe you outsold them a little bit, but you have the victory of using the entirety of your numbers of your entire industry to barely beat one series of another industry. It's not really the victory they think it is. So the thing is, it's not really all that great in terms of comic book sales in the American industry. I think that European industry and everything else is doing fine. It's the Americans who are just suffering in their own territory because they can't get it through their heads that you need to write a good story, good characters, and not have to write comic books about Kate Bishop going after a kid because he sent bad, mean emails to a girl, which is literally a story I read.
That's fucking ridiculous.
And the poor guy, instead of going to prison, his punishment was to get a lecture on feminism. I think he's dead now or something, probably. I don't know. But how to treat women right and how to respect them or something. It was like this, oh no, rather go to jail. But that's where it is. The entirety of the comic book industry, is being compared to like single series from Japan. That's how bad it is. So I don't know if they're going to cut it out, but it's been conjecture for a reason for a while. And there might be something like that. Maybe something like that, where they're just keeping them around for just for the sake of, keeping the IPs fresh. So they can start off with a comic book and then evolve into a TV show, evolve into a movie like Riri Williams did. It's a lot easier to start there. And, a comic book is relatively cheap to make compared to like a movie or a TV show. So they can start off the characters there and gain an audience, and then feel free to move into. I don't know if they'll ever stop, but it's clear they don't respect the medium anymore. It's kind of a vestigial thing that still has a use, but not as big a use as it used to have.
Well, I'm trying to pull up some numbers because I found the manga sales, or these manga sales. It says top 10 best-selling series. The data is updated for June of 2021. And you're looking at Demon Slayer, number one, with 26 million total sales. I'm trying to look at, the 2020 sales for books and try to find like a popular title and see how it does. But I'm not getting that. So
they're so desperate right now. Aren't they putting out like 1 trillion Batman series at the same time? Like Batman sells, right? Batman sells. Just pump out Batman. And they still can't compete with some manga from Japan.
So let me compare the entire comic book industry. I think it made $40 million in America. And that is the dollars represented by the top 300 comic books during the selected months. So June 2021, $40,160,000, I guess is what it wrote. So what's this book bringing in 26 million units alone? And then the next book, Jujutsu Kaisen, another 26 million units sold. Like what the? I don't know what the hell this shit is, but it's popular. I guess I should look into it and see what it is. Anyway, I'm not going to look at this on air. Mary, are you still alive?
Manga is popular. Manga is it's undeniably popular in America, and they really hate it because one, it decentralizes their power. Like it's like, oh, we're DC and Marvel, we make up the comic books community. But then here comes manga, and everyone is able to go somewhere else and reject their woke weirdness, and they're able to see cool stories again, awesome characters again. Really interesting and nuanced tales and stories and plots and exploration to ethics, all the things that American comics used to do, and more. We can now get from manga, and we can run to that, and that's why. So all the sales that American comics could be getting now are going towards manga and independent comics, because they refuse to give readers what they want. They just said, you need to take my politics or don't buy it. If you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. Don't buy my book. And then we didn't. And now they're just, whoa, wait a minute. What's going on here? How come we're not making any money?
one of the problems is we talk about the self-insert character, but one of the problems with society in general is, like Young Ripa says, we're always trying to slay another dragon. What a lot of these comic book creatives today try to do is be like a Neil Adams or a Denny O'Neil or some of these people that are socially conscious but know how to write comics and tell these stories. They don't realize, they think that comics were a vehicle for politics, and they forget they're actually, like you said, the storytelling. And they want to chase the highs of these legends and forget that, they may these use that they can write a damn good story, or this motherfucker can draw and write and create. Nowadays, you get these people who tell joke stories like Internet Gas. We all made fun of the New Warrior so much it never got released. That shouldn't happen. You should not have a product that goes through marketing and research and all this shit, gets approved, gets made, and then never gets out to the public because everyone realizes what a stupid mess you have on your hands. That's an embarrassment.
Yeah, exactly. And they keep claiming this. Oh, it's always been political. They've always been about social. No, they haven't been about social issues and they have never been political. Not in the terms that they're using. Have there been political comics? Of course there have. Of course they exist. But even Stan Lee was the Stan Lee is the guy they always they tie his corpse to a stick and they're like, yeah, look, Stan Lee. They wave him around like a puppet, and it's disgusting. Even his Twitter account, they still use it as a puppet. But the thing is, even Stan Lee said, hey, yeah, I put that stuff in there to enhance the plot. It never overshadowed the plot. I put like social issues in there because they made for cool ethical and moral dilemmas, not because I wanted to preach to you. If he wanted to preach to you, you can just go back to, Stan Lee's soapbox. There's another thing they kind of tout everywhere. Oh, look, should be no politics in comic books. What about Stan Lee's soapbox, huh? Looks like you're wrong. Take that, incels. Thing is, the soapbox is not the comic. It's in the back of the comic. It's not in the story at all.
What's weird to me? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm saying like Stan Lee knew that, not to put that stuff in the story itself and then to put it at the end, outside of the story.
What's weird to me is that the scope for what is political is really altered in the last few years, right? So things that previously wouldn't have been, they may have been considered a social issue, but they certainly weren't considered a political issue. That scope has changed, and people are applying what makes sense within today's viewpoint of political to things that came previously. And they're saying, oh, well, this thing is political. No, it's actually not, or at least it certainly wasn't when it was made. You may perceive it to be political now, but there was no intent behind that initially on so many things. And so I feel like because those goalposts have been moved so drastically and so dramatically, people feel that they can simply run with anything and say, oh, this is political. Yeah, you can insert some vague ideologies, or not ideologies, but some vague isms and things into stuff and have it not have been political. It shouldn't have been political. It shouldn't be political, right? That was a possibility once. Now everything is so hypercharged that you can't have anything without it sparking some kind of outrage. It's really crazy.
It is. It's sad too. Now, Literature Devil, tell us a little more about your comic.
Oh yeah, Dr. Alpha, Miracle Child. I started this comic a long time ago. It took a long time for it to come out. I've been working on it for 2 years. I think since 2019. I didn't know it would take this long. It's been as my artist put it, a Herculean effort to put together. But after long last, the main story is complete. It's been drawn, colored, lettered, and everything. And right before the stream started, because everyone backed it so generously, I was able to unlock a stretch goal, which unlocked an extra side story, which has been written, drawn, and as of a few hours ago, lettered and now completed. So I'm waiting now for 2 more pages to get done, and I've added some goodies in there just to make up for the lateness. I got a brand new cover by Anthony Figueroa, the very talented Anthony Figueroa, which is right there, and also, there's a little secret piece that's going to be in there. I got some 1-page stories of Dr. Alpha. Ooh. That's going to be in the back of the book. This 1-pagers, but they have their complete story in themselves. It's kind of a funny little here and there. And everyone who orders a physical copy of any kind will get a Halloween themed bookmark. And I believe everyone will also get like a poster a Lady Midnight poster, like for free, as long as you get a physical copy. Because I can't send you any of this stuff if I'm not shipping anything to you. So that's how it goes. So the main story is complete. I actually been sending the story out to some people for proofreading, and that Umbrella guy loved it. If anyone knows Adam Post, the guy who's been like in comic books and publishing comic books for a long time, many years, so it's 10 times the story people are expecting it to be, and people every somebody who has read it, everyone who has read it so far, and has got back to me has liked it immensely, which is good. It bodes well. It's a good
feeling.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was like, oh good, I'm glad you liked it. The main story itself is 112 pages just for the main story. Also comes with a 10-page Lady Midnight extra story that everyone will get, and what is now an 8-page side story plus 2 backer pages that were tiers. The backers were able to, like, hey, I back this. I get to suggest a page in the comic, and those are the ones that are being drawn up right now, and those are it. 2 more pages left to go, and you'll be able to ready to put in the print file. I'm really hoping to start sending packages out in October. Really trying hard to get that ready for October. It'll be perfect because I love October. I love Halloween, and
it's the best month.
It is the best month. I'm hashtag Team Halloween all the way.
Same.
And of course, bookmarks are Halloween themed, so that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. But the main story itself, 112 pages for the main story alone, 10 extra pages for Lady Midnight side story, 8 pages for the extra story that was unlocked, and then a few more like little goodies pages, extra secret piece that was done by Preston Acevedo, is now colored and everything, and I think 2 extra 1-page stories that are just for fun, and so it's going to be a pretty hefty book. And if you buy the hardcover, it comes with an extra 10 pages of commentary, my thoughts and my thought processes, and where everything came from, things that are not in the book that are explained in the commentary. It's not narrative wise. I mean, like, hey, where Dr. Alba's tattoos come from? What's the club that he? Why is he spray painting the Mona Lisa? Things like that. So where things came from, the inspirations, why people act the way they do, in hidden references, maybe stuff like that. So the hardcover is going to be just that. It's everything, but with nice hardcover by Andrew Huerta. It's going to be 8.5 by 11, something like that. It's going to be a pretty large book. And it also comes with that only the hardcover. Only the hardcover comes with the commentary, but commentaries are written, so that's already done. I'm literally just waiting before the 2 backer pages, and then I have someone to put the print file together for me, and we're ready to go to print.
Dude, you are so lucky you got someone to put your print file together for you.
Yeah,
I did it all. It fucking sucks.
It does. It does.
Like, people don't understand. Like, I had 15 phone conversations about moving my print or my cover over fractions of an inch. Like, it's like literally, if you control it and you press the arrow once, it wasn't enough. It was like not an eighth of an inch closer. It's a process, but it's satisfying when you're done with it, and you know what it's like, man. So congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Can't wait to actually get this printed. It's gonna be awesome. I got all the shipping material together. Like, as soon as it's here, I'm starting to ship things out.
I'm leaving off full of that shit. I'm not going to turn the computer around, but I am going to share real quick. So yeah, folks, we got these. They're shipping out. Superfan Adam Shawhan has it, but I wanted to share this real quick. The Fandom Menace trading cards. Mary, you heard about these, right?
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to open up a set on air right now and share these with everybody. So these come in a nice hollow foil or a foil package. Beautiful, features Anna's cover. And let's see these real quick because they're fun. So look, it's me. I'm a trading card. We have me, the Pie Man himself, Ethan, Jeremy, Jesse, Anna, that Star Wars girl, which is the most popular card for some reason, Cecil the Hutt, which is my favorite card for some reason, Mecha Random 42, Tom, Gary, and finally Mahler. So folks, be on the lookout. If you backed the project, thank you very much. It's on its way. Superfan Adam Shawhan has his stuff, and word on the street is he's very satisfied. So Hey, you don't call him super fan for nothing. But before we go, let's catch up with our last couple of super chats and then put this baby to bed. So 007 Cloud, thank you very much. He asks, did I hear a Lord of the Rings watch party? Maybe you did. I'll assemble a fellowship.
I would be so down for that. I love Lord of the Rings. Could talk about that all day long, y'all.
You're gonna watch it all day long to get through one of the movies. Wolf's Pain, thank you very much. Last super of the night is I gotta go. One hero's journey I love is Jurassic Park's, where Alan Grant learns to be a parent as he was stuck with his love for dinosaurs. I need to watch Jurassic Park more to understand it in that way. I've seen Jurassic Park 3 times in my entire life.
I mean, it is kind of a subplot where where Dr. Grant is learning to. I wouldn't say it's that he's stuck in his love for dinosaurs so much as he sees children as very one-dimensional. He just sees them very one-dimensionally. I get where you could come from with that, but I would say that it's less that he learns to be a parent so much as he learns to view those kinds of normal. When I say normal, those nuclear family type tendencies to have value. It's just a particular kind of guy. So I love Jurassic Park. Did I disappear?
Oh.
Hello?
What happened?
How did I disappear this time? Anyway. Andrew Clark says, looking forward to Daniel Kibblesmith's Blade comic.
Yeah, he's making a Blade comic, which is kind of funny because it's exactly the kind of character he was afraid of as a kid. Like he was afraid of the black guy with a sword. Now he's making a comic about Blade.
Why is he afraid of black people?
I don't know. He said that during the New Warriors. Like I was always intimidated by the black guy with a sword or something like that. Like it was the black character with the sword that intimidated him. Like, oh, he was just too cool for me. And now he's doing Blade for some reason. Like, oh my goodness, it's gonna be so violent, you guys. Like, I don't think so.
Now,
I really don't think so.
I don't think it's gonna work. I did get to the modern numbers for Marvel for June of 2021. Their number one book sold 282,000 units. The other book sold 26 million units. That's a big jump. And their number one book was Venom with a whopping. Like I said, 282,000 units, but the cover price was $10.
And also do the thing where like we're going to make like 20 or 30 variant covers, and you have to buy like so many of this to get like one of those variant covers that people will actually want to buy. So they have like these predatory practices on the comic book shops, people who actually sell these things. So I mean, the numbers are even inflated. They don't always sell, and you can see that the creators are like saying, "Hey, can you please send me some money? I haven't had a good paycheck in like months," because they a lot of the times they don't really make the quota, it seems, to get royalties because they sell so low. So yeah, they're like, I'm pledged by Marvel. Are you pledged by Marvel? I am. I bet you're not. Sorry, not sorry. Tee lol. But then on the other side, like, I'm pledged by Marvel. Can I have some money? Can I have some help buying a sandwich? Like that's where they are now. Like they're being paid like next to nothing. But
look at all the damn people on this. Look at all the people on this book. These are just creators.
Yeah, it's like like one of these leftist SJW sort of like independent books. Like what was it called? Deadbeats, where they have like 10,000 people on the book and it generates like $40,000. Like no one's getting paid for this thing. There's no way.
God. $10 for a comic, like a Marvel comic. That's only never mind. It's not even worth it. Finally, Lacking Levels says, "What do you think about Shang-Chi making $80 million?"
Oh yeah, they're going to make a lot of money with anything to pump out right now because Marvel, as much as you might hate them, they put in the effort, they put in the work for like 10 years, and they built up their brand. So now they get to ride on that for years to come. And yeah, it's going to take a while for them to significantly damage the brand, I think. But yeah, it's not really surprising to me that Shang-Chi did well, that it made $80 million. It's not that surprising to me that these things aren't flopping as hard as they should be. Because to be objective, to be fair, Marvel spent 10 years building that brand, and they didn't just spend 10 years making flops. They spent 10 years making movies that generally people enjoyed and could find reliable as entertainment. So that they're riding on that success, that past success now. But it's not gonna last forever. But we're in that phase at the moment.
This is the only Marvel movie I haven't seen. It's only been out for 2 weeks. At this point, I had seen every Marvel movie by day one. The only ones I didn't get to see on the opening day were Ant-Man 2. So Ant-Man 2 is the only one I didn't see the second I could.
I do think that there's really something important there about very balanced view about Marvel is agreed. I agree that it's garbage, it's shit, right? But there's something to this very balanced view of recognizing. Look, Disney is still coasting. They're doing remakes of animated movies that were successful 30 fucking years ago, right? Just you have to keep in mind that Rome was built, and it maybe wasn't built in a day and it fell in a day, but this isn't Rome, right? It's not a one-to-one analogy. You have to keep in mind that this stuff can absolutely continue to coast for such a long time off of what was made.
Yeah, I agree. So, folks, I think it's time to close out this show. Mary, is there anything you'd like to say before we put this baby to bed?
Maple flavored glue is a thing, and you guys should be ashamed of yourself for furthering its perpetuation within society.
Fair enough. LiteratureDevil, anything you'd like to say?
Nothing much. It was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Oh, dude, thanks for joining. We'll definitely make this happen again. Now, I want to ask you to do me one quick favor. In honor of Mary, pick a number between 1 and 17.
7.
Imagine if you gave a white supremacist 5 MEO DMT, and then as the first one, as they're exhaling,
yeah.
What a rush!
Yeah, we got weird last week.
Fuck did I just watch?
We got weird with it last week.
What the fucking fuck did I just watch?
You're welcome is what you just watched. So I think it's time to go. I'm going to go over to Mindless Entertainment. Let me drop that link real quick. We're going to cover what we got at the con. So I got to go pull that shit out. Let's see. So I'm going to drop that link right now, and you can come hang. Here are stories of hanging out with celebrities and fun shit. Hold on, wait. Darian217 sent in another super chat that asks for number 17 as well. All right, let me go press the button.
No, don't do it, man. Don't do it, man.
Shut
up! Literature Devil. Since we talked about comics, check out the new Spider-Man trailer.
If I were a rich man,